I'm coming for all of you. Right now, there's a 15-year-old sophomore in high school who has no idea they're studying nursing just so they can wipe my ass in 17 years. I'm 50 and single. That's a fantastic combination. I'm going to spend my golden years dating a handful of spit and a jug of Astroglide.
Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. Folks, we're learning together as a unit. Me and you together, me in the front, of course, because I'm the talent. You guys behind, falling behind, following me and listening because you're taking cues from me. I'm the guy. I'm the man in charge. I'm the music man in charge. That's who I am. I'm in front of you with like a fucking scepter or a baton and a tall furry hat leading the Grand March like the end of Bozo Circus. You guys don't know what Bozo Circus is, do you? If you're from Chicago, you know what Bozo Circus is. It was at the end of the day of the Grand March, and there was a thing where Bozo would come out, and he had some little kid, and they would lead a march, and they would basically, it was their effective way to get people out of the fucking studio and turn the show over. But they pretended like it was a big deal, so kids would be like, woo, let's follow Bozo out into the parking lot. Which, by the way, don't teach your kids to follow a clown into the parking lot, because then every clown, every pedo clown, every pedophile clown, I just like the way I expanded that. I had to go from clown to pedophile clown. In case you didn't follow me, you didn't know where I was going. But now, every pedophile clown is going to grab a scepter and lead a grand march into a van somewhere, and your kid's going to get tagged, and it's not good. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants their kid getting tagged. I cleaned that up there. And you hear this fucking table rotating and fucking noise? I can hear shit. This is the thing that we got a problem with. We got trouble. Right here, Podcast City. That's like I said, I'm the music man, didn't I? Did I or did I not? Folks, here's the deal. I with this microphone and this new, laptop, the whole new setup, everybody out there knows exactly what I'm talking about. I've been doing this for weeks. All I talk about is fucking equipment because God knows there's nothing else to talk about in my fucking life. I'm trying to be far away from the microphone because every time I listen back to the fucking show, I hear myself swallowing a river of spit. Or at launching a river of spit, or at least trying to wade through a river of spit and pronounce something with any three-syllable word is a fucking nightmare. And then anytime I'll go off on a jag and I'll talk, and all of a sudden at the end you hear me just swallow this fucking. It's just disgusting. It just sounds like somebody jammed a microphone directly into my fucking cheeks, and you had to hear the fucking spit roiling around. And nobody likes that. It's like having like the La Brea tar pits right up into your ears or something like that, or just some bubbling geyser. You remember Bubbling Geyser? That was the worst burlesque dancer in history. Do not sit in the front row for Bubbling Geyser. She was very much like Gallagher. Bubbling Gallagher Geyser. Bubbling Geyser Gallagher. That was her last name was Gallagher. Gallagher's not a first name, folks. Gallagher Wilson. See, that doesn't work. But Wilson Gallagher, that's someone you pay to see. But Bubbling Geyser Gallagher, oh my God, yeah, cover yourself with plastic wrap in the front row. You don't want to get fucking doused with squirt. And I don't mean the soda, folks. I mean, this woman is excited about her job and her gig, and she's showering down the front rows. She's like the Peter North of burlesque dancers, who she is. All right, so fuck. Anyway, I talk, and then there's spit, and there's liquid, and it's rolling around, roiling. So now I'm kind of back away from the microphone. So I'm hoping that I can still be heard. And if I can't, then, I don't know, turn me up, turn me out. Tune me out, even better. That's the way that we should do things. Just tune me out, folks, as I lean on this table and I record from this weird spot in my apartment now because I'm trying to find the best fucking place to do it. See, I just popped a pee there and it sounded good to me. Like, that sounds okay. Oh my God, it looks terrible on the blue lines, though, but that's me. Hi. First of all, let's talk about this, folks. It's October, and I love October. October, perhaps my favorite month. Why, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. I love October for several different reasons. First of all, playoff baseball is a big thing, and the Cubs are out there lurking right now. No Phillies, but that's okay. We got the Cubs, we got the Dodgers. I went to a Dodger game. I'll tell you about that in a few minutes. Well, I should talk about it now, shouldn't I? I went and saw the Dodgers with Pardo on Game 2. We were in Dodger Stadium. We went, and let's talk about this for just a second, because this will tell you exactly where I am in my fucking life. Jimmy and I went separately to the game, and he had emailed me my ticket, so he's like, maybe you can just get your way into the fucking park. He doesn't have to meet me upstairs. And look, we're grown men. We know how to handle this, how to get into a ballpark, but at the same time, I always feel stupid fucking wandering in without him. I know that's strange. I don't even hold my fucking hand. But as long as I have a ticket, I'm safe. But then I always feel like all right, if he gets there ahead of time, he gets there ahead of me, I'm always like, go find a seat. And he's like, without you? I go, yeah, I mean, I'm on my way. I'll be there. I don't want to make you feel bad. Because again, the way it works is, he grabs the tickets for us, and then I see him, and then, I pay for parking and food and whatever the fuck. But then he's like, I'll meet you there. And I said, great. And since we come separately, he gets there ahead of me, and I said, "Well, go find your seat." He's like, "Well, without you?" And I said, "Yeah, of course." And he doesn't want to do that, which I get. But at the same time, I also don't want him to be responsible for him missing even like one fucking pitch, because this was his gracious offer to go to the game, and I was like, "Yeah, man, let's do it." And then I wound up getting caught in parking traffic outside, and I feel like a dick fuck. That seems strong. I feel more like a fuck dick. And he was caught in parking traffic too, but he came in from a different side of the stadium, so it turned out to be fine. We left. I left a little, probably a little later than him, because I'm closer to the stadium than he is from where he lives. Here's where Jimmy lives. Here's his address. That seems weird. But we went to the game Sunday, so I had to park. We were sitting in right field, all right, and then I had to park in left field because that's how I got in. And they won't. Dodger Stadium has a bunch of dudes in yellow coats telling you what to do, which nobody likes, right? We separated from the fucking British because of that. They had their yellow coats and they ordered us what to do, or red coats. Hold on, my entire premise has been invalidated. Yeah, it turns out, get this, it turns out that the British in 1776 didn't have a bunch of guys in event staff yellow coats telling you where to park. Instead, they had red coats telling you you had to drink a bunch of tea off their boat, right? Is that from then? I think that's from then. No, that's what we did. We threw the tea into the river after we split, because then the redcoats came over with their Hessians and all their occupying, and then we had Valley Forge, and George Washington got into a boat, and he stood up tall, even though he could get picked off by a fucking musket ball. But that's how he did it. He rolled through the Roiling Muskets. That should have been my fantasy team name instead of the other one I fucking chose, which is now getting their ass kicked every week. Look, I don't want to talk about Valley Forge anymore. The point is, I went to the Dodger game. I'm there. I had to park in left field, and the fucking guys wouldn't let me go to. I'm like, dude, my guy's in right field. I got to meet a guy with my ticket, even though I had a ticket, but I tried to lie. And they said, no, you got to park here. We'll steer you over here. And they put me in left field, which is fine. But that means then I got to hump it across the fucking parking lot. And I told you, Pardo's waiting for me, and I'm like, fuck, just go in, dude. Feel awful. But then I hit the ground running. So I get out of my fucking car. God damn it, I hate the noise of this fucking table. I want to just fucking take it and throw it away. Sorry. That's loud for your ears. So didn't I just say, like, I'm like, oh man, I'm going to record this in a proper way so you can hear me in a nice fashion. And now here I am almost tearing the top of a fucking spinning table. This table's like an antique. It's like a lazy Susan table. Because I told you I don't sit at my desk because I didn't like the sound over there. But then last week I sat over here and I thought the sound was okay. But then I listened back to it and I wonder if it's me with the microphone. And because there's this whole, fuck, you don't care. See, this is what happens when you don't have a producer, folks. Not that Lily was setting all the recording levels and shit like that. I don't know if she was or wasn't, because I've been doing this shit for fucking 2 years. And I know you're going to trace it right back and go, yeah, that's when everything fell off, man. This is your fucking problem. This is your fault. So I get to left field and I park and I have to sprint across the parking lot. Now let's put it this way. Sprinting, strong word. I had to hustle. So I'm walking quick, and here's the thing. I lift, like I told you, I lift like 3 days a week, and I have for like 4 years. But I quit cardio a couple of years ago, so things have kind of gone awry. Things have gone off the deep end a little bit. So I'm carrying a bit more on my frame than I cared to at this point. I don't even want to know what the fuck it is. I have a general idea. I can usually tell by my jeans. Like I told you, I've got like 30 pairs of jeans. That seems high. 20? 18? Hold on, I'm going to go count my jeans. I'm going to go in and get a fucking true count on jeans. I know you can't enjoy the rest of this show unless you get a true count of the jeans I have in my fucking hutch and closet. And that's true. I have a hutch. I don't have a dresser. I don't have a couch or a dresser. I don't have any of those things. I have, what do I have? A hutch. I got a bed. I got a cocktail bench. I got a couple of desks. And I got this fucking lazy Susan table that I just spun again and made a fucking noise. God damn it. And then I have another table that has like a vanity. And I have these speakers. Oh, man, what the fuck? Here's the thing. I made a joke about counting jeans, and I thought to myself, well, that's stupid. No one's ever going to count jeans. Instead, I gave you a furniture rundown. Like I did a furniture roll call. Like I had the Mickey Mouse Furniture Club or something, and I had 2 fucking chairs and an office chair, and I have 2 other chairs with no arms. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Quit giving me that fucking list. Nobody cares. With jeans, that's how I do it with I have some 38s, which are collecting fucking dust. I mean, I haven't had those on in fucking 3 years probably. But I remember the day I bought them, I was so fucking excited about the 38s. I was all happy. But I was walking around in 40s for a long time. Then we had to bump it up a little bit. We had the 42s lurking. Then we had the 44s lurking. So I was in the 44s for a while last year. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to live in these 44s and hide like these fucking big-ass Aladdin jeans, just like crazy hammer pant jeans. They're not real. Like, I used to wear 64s, which is a fucking mess. And let me tell you, will you still need me? Will you still feed me when my waist size is 64? Cut half of that out of the fucking equation. Do not feed me when my waist size is 64. You want to need me, that's fine. Feeding me, absolutely fucking not. But I got into the 44s last year and I was wearing those around. But now we're back down in the 42s, heading down toward the 40s, which is good. So we've grabbed the reins a little bit. So of the 18 pairs of jeans, 6 of them have now been eliminated. Oh, I think that's wrong, actually. I think it's wrong that I have 18. I really do. I gotta have 25 pairs of fucking jeans in there. We had a show on that. Remember I was going to boil my jeans and send them to you guys? You gotta have my essence? God, I'm great. What the fuck was I talking about? Jeans, clothes. Weight, lifting. All right, so I lift like 3 times a week. And I'll tell you more about that later. But I go to the Dodger game, and I had to hustle across the parking lot. I'll tell you this about me now, and I'm sure you probably gathered this. I'm not a hustler anymore. I'm not Ice-T. Hustler. Hustler. That's not me, for fuck's sake. I move at a glacial pace. I like to stride. I'm more of a Monero than a T. Than an iced tea. I'm more of an iced Monero. That's why I'm a Tony Monero instead of an iced tea. Unless the T's for Tony. I'm an iced tea Monero. I'm an iced Tony Monero. Striding across the parking lot, I'm more of a walker. Not my friend Walker Ewell, and not Neil Walker, who is from the Pittsburgh Pirates. I don't know where he played this year. How many other walkers are there? There's got to be another couple of walkers. I can't believe I can't pull more walkers out of my brain except for those two. Neil Walker, obscure baseball player, and Walker Ewell, friend. There's got to be other walkers out there. Moonwalker? No, that's not a guy, is it? Spacewalker? Fuck. Why can't I pull more walkers? Now I'm angry at myself. See, my fucking brain is going, man. I'm 50 and everything's going to hell. Not just the body, the brain. The brain. I must obey the brain. Did I ever tell you that story? That's a thing from it's not even a story, it's a fucking anecdote. There was this picture once of Batman. It was like in a 1960s comic book. And it was the cover of a book, or it was the panel from a comic. I don't even fucking know, but my brothers and I thought it was the stupidest thing we ever saw. It's Batman, and there's like a brain in a jar. And this is exactly the way it's written. There's the bubble, it's a comic book, so there's a bubble above Batman's head. And he goes, I can't resist. I must obey the brain. And so that became a running thing with me and my brothers, always. I mean, for years, we would say it. I'll tell you what, if I said it to my brother Glenn right now, he would know exactly what I was talking about. You ever got that shorthand with people from fucking growing up? Even 30 years ago, if you said something stupid to somebody, they'd go, oh yeah, I know exactly what that was. I can't resist. I must obey the brain. There was another thing we did when we were kids. We did this to my little brothers, and this has recently made a reappearance in my life, actually. When my brother Lenny and I, we had our little brothers. I was older, I was 3 years older than Glenn, and then 4 years older than Andy, whatever. So then when we started to age and we wanted them to do stuff, they would, they'd be obstinate, they'd be little kids. The way we would control them, because we were terrible people, my brother Lenny and I would pretend we were dying. And we would ask them to do something, and if they stalled or they didn't do it right away, we would go, dying, dead. And we would lay there dead until they went and accomplished the task. And they'd be scared because we were the ones watching them, and they thought that we were actually dead. And they didn't know how to handle their lives, so we would scare them into thinking that we were dead, and they had to do the thing in order to bring us back to life. Hold on, listen, that's my eye. Can you hear that? That's me rubbing my eye. Good Christ. That's what this show's come to. Genes counting and eye rubbing. That's got to be the name, right? So we would do that we would just, whenever something was bad or we needed something done or we wanted to get our way, Lenny and I would go, dying, dead. And then our brothers would panic and they would freak out because they thought we were really dead, and they would go hurry up and do their chores. And then we would miraculously get back to life. Yeah, we controlled our little brothers with the thought of their older brothers dying. Look, man, when you're little and you're watching little kids, you don't have any other fucking parenting skills. Although I'll tell you what, if I had a kid, I would have done that shit all the fucking time. When I get Bomb Pop and Chinese Rick, I'm going to do that shit. I'm going to train him from the beginning. I'm going to say, hey, Chinese Rick, make sure you fucking clean up your room. And he's going to be like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna. I'm going to go, dying, dead. Although I guess with Chinese Rick, I could just fucking tell him I'm going to send him back, right? Couldn't that's even more effective than dying dead? Hey, Chinese Rick, you want to go back to fucking Mandarin Town and make me a watch? I don't fucking think so. By the way, Mandarin Town is right next to Polynesian Town, which is owned by the mayor Johnny LaRue. That's a reference for anybody who remembers SCTV, and nobody does, I find out, because whenever I tell anybody that I went to that fucking thing in Canada, to the SCTV thing, I get a lot of blank stares. There's a lot of young people who have no fucking idea what SCTV was. And you can't even say stuff like, well, you know, Dave Thomas and Rick Moranis, because they're not even in movies anymore. Those guys are fucking gone. And Eugene Levy's the only one you can pull, because he's in that fucking Schitt's Creek show on, I think it's on Amazon. Now, I got to be honest with you, I see billboards for that fucking thing all the time. There's literally a show called Schitt's Creek. And why? What's the point? If it was called Schmitz Creek, it would make sense, or Schlitz Creek, or something like that, or Spritz Creek. That's fine. But it's actually called like Schitt's Creek, but it's like SCHIITT or something, I think. Unless I'm reading the billboards completely wrong. That could be the case. But I think there's actually a show called Schitt's Creek. I can't watch it. I don't give a fuck how funny it is. They have the funniest cast, the funniest scripts, but just the name Schitt's Creek, just because you know what? I hate the word shit. I do. I just can't stand it. I probably say it more often than I should. Well, I think anybody who says it at all is saying it more often than they should, but just the word shit, or to say, because it's so funny. There's a song by Jay-Z and Justin Timberlake, and by Jay-Z and Justin Timberlake, I mean, it's a song by Justin Timberlake that Jay-Z fucking ruined. Suit and Tie, right? Is that the name of it? And in the opening of the song, it's a badass song. It's a fun little dance song. It's breezy. It's poppy. But in the opening, it's got this little horn. And then it's got this opening where Justin Timberlake goes, I be on my suit and tie shit. There you show me a few things. Well, like I love the song, but that opening part, just because he says, I be on my suit and tie shit, because and they don't mean shit like the way shit usually was, like, you know, a pile of stuff that comes out of you. But I mean, just the very use of the word alone, it just declassifies the whole song. That's probably the incorrect usage of that word. It declasses the whole song. It makes it hobo-ish, and you don't need to use even stuff. Well, you can't say stuff, because then you sound like a fucking child saying, when someone says frick. Man, what about the frickin' frogs are gay. Someone contacted me on Twitter and told me I should do a fake Alex Jones show, like an entire show. And in my head, I just thought, you can't. Alex Jones is already doing that show. I couldn't possibly parody Alex Jones any more than he parodies himself as he turns bright red, looking like just a fucking fire hydrant in an ill-fitting suit with his fists clenched, pounding on the fucking table. Turn the frickin' frog. All right. I'll be my suit and tie stuff. Yeah, no, you see, you can't say stuff either. You got to think of a different word there, but not shit. It took me out of the song. And luckily, it just kicks in then with the fucking dance thing, and JT hits the fucking fellatio. The fellatio? Man, what the fuck is happening to me? Didn't the show used to be good? Didn't my brain used to work where I used to be able to pull anything? I meant falsetto. I literally just said fellatio instead of falsetto. Jesus fucking Christ. Remember earlier in the show when I said I was the music man and you could all line up behind me? Fuck that. I'm handing somebody my scepter. Somebody grab my scepter and grab it hard and fast and stroke it. Yeah, stroke my scepter, goddammit. But don't follow me. Listen to me. I'm fucking everything up. I'm a guy, like I said, I'm worried about spitting into the microphone and rivers of spit, and I can't even fucking pull I pull fellatio instead of falsetto? That's where my fucking brain is. You know, here's exactly how I feel about this show. Dying. Dead. So I'm at Dodger Stadium, and I got to sprint across the fucking parking lot. Again, sprinting is a strong word, but I got to hit the ground running, unchained. Nothing stays the same. So I have to hustle to get to Jimmy, and I'm making my way across the parking lot, and like I said, when I get into my cardio, I'm fine. If I wind up doing cardio for any length of time, I can go ahead and do it. I hit the ground running. I do a couple of fucking, I can do a mile or 2 or 3 a day once I get into the routine. But if I'm not doing it, like I said, my frame, my carriage is just, my countenance, it's looming. My body's looming. And then my legs, I got strong legs. I fucking leg press every week, whatever the fuck. But still, quick twitch movements and walking quickly across a parking lot, you're pushing off, you're moving your calves, you're using your thighs, whatever the fuck. And also, it's fucking hot here. dudes. That's another thing. Let's talk about that. Remember I just said I love October because I love playoff baseball and I love college football. But here's the thing. I don't fucking love college football. I just love the fact that it's on. I just love the vibe of college football being on Saturdays because it reminds me of being a kid and growing up in the fall. So like, and then also there's regular football, hockey in full bloom. The NBA has started with a fucking guy snapping his fucking leg in half. Did you see that yesterday? Dude, how brutal is that? I'm not a Celtics guy at all. But I'm a Bulls guy. We had our own problems yesterday. Literally, this happened with the Bulls. Everybody's like, well, the Bulls are going to suck this year. And then 2 days before their season opens, one of their guys punches another one of their guys in the face, breaks his jaw, like smashes an orbital bone or whatever the fuck he did to him. And dude, this is why the internet is such a fucking terrible place. There's a guy named Bobby Portis, and he fights a guy named Nikola Mirotic. And, of course, Bobby Portis busts Mirotic in the face, breaks a fucking bone in his face, and it gives him a concussion. He's out 6 weeks. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, it looks like fucking Mirotic he bit off much more than he could chew there. He took on the wrong guy in Bobby Portis. No, the real problem is Bobby Portis punched Mirotic in the face. Or Mirotic, or however you want to fucking, they're teammates. Don't punch your teammate in the face. And then you read the recap, and they're like, well, they were going at it hard in practice. They started chest bumping, and Mirotic, he came after him a little bit. Don't punch a guy in the face. You want to wrestle? You want to do something stupid? I recognize that you're both millionaires, and you're playing a game, and there's no reason to punch the other millionaire in the face. Now, look, usually I'm all for millionaires punching each other in the face. I want to see it. I want to see millionaires go head-to-head, punching each other in the face constantly, whether they're professional fighters or amateur fighters. I think we ought to have, remember bum fights? Let's have billionaire fights. Let's have actual billionaires fucking strap up, wear their power red ties into a ring, and beat the fuck out of one another. It'll be like the Two Tribes video from fucking Frankie Goes to Hollywood, which is the way personally I think that Trump and fucking Kim Jong-un should solve the fucking America and North Korea thing. Because everybody here in America, I'm not going to say everybody, a lot of us hate Trump. We're not fucking interested in that guy. We're not rooting for him. And I got news for you. In North Korea, everybody, I'm comfortable in saying this. I've not been there. I'm comfortable in saying everybody hates Kim Jong-un. So when these two start waving their dicks at one another and talking about going to bomb the fuck out of one another, or the Little Rocket Man and Doe Tough or whatever, or what do you call him, a Dotor? I don't know what the fuck. Kim Jong-un came up with a word. Everybody's like, haha, he made up a word. Then he looked it up. No, he actually used a word that's from Old English. Like he busted out some sort of Shakespearean word to insult fucking Trump. Even their guy, even their dictating idiot with the worst haircut who pretends to hit 17 hole-in-ones in a fucking golf tournament, that guy even got the best of Trump with a fucking insult. Because stupid Trump is like, Little Rocket Man, don't ever the fuck. And that guy's over there using Shakespearean insults to talk about fucking our guy. And you're just, dude, you're even losing a trash talk war to the guy in North Korea. That's fucking terrible. Because that guy's a doof. You ever see that fucking idiot? He looks like the Michelin Man. He looks like they left a fucking hose into him and they overinflated him. You ever get your tire to be too heavy and they gotta let some air out of it? Someone's got to let some air out of fucking Kim Jong-un. And what is that guy choking down over there? I mean, the whole country is starving. They can't grow anything because he's taking away all the water and he portions it the fuck out. Man, that country's a mess. Said the guy who lives in America and watches Trump fight with the NFL over bullshit and nothingness. And watches Harvey Weinstein get fucking taken down and then say he wants a second chance. This is the best part about this fucking stuff. Look, Harvey Weinstein's a fucking monster. He's a garbage piece of shit, and we all know that. So fuck him. And yeah, I just used piece of shit. I shouldn't use it because I don't like it, but in this case, it applies. That guy's a human piece of fucking garbage, and he is absolutely shit. And fuck that guy. I hope. Here's the thing, though. That guy's already fucking won. That's the problem. Guys like this that we get, like Cosby and shit, that we get late in life after all their bullshit that they did. But I mean, also, what kind of fucking life did they fucking lead? Cosby had to fucking roofie all those chicks to get laid. How does he... I mean, I guess he's a monster, so he doesn't fucking realize exactly how pathetic it is. But if you ever sit down and really think about it, if he ever looks at it and goes, man, I'm like rich and famous, and I still had to roofie chicks, but he didn't have to roofie those chicks. He could have nailed anybody he fucking wanted to. He roofied the chicks because he's a fucking predator. He's a monster. He's an animal. He didn't want to deal with it, and that's his fetish. Probably full total control. Imagine the fucking photos that guy's got stashed somewhere. You thought Bob Crane had a fucking pile of stuff. Bill Cosby... What's with these 70s sitcom guys? Jesus Christ. Fucking Bob Crane from Hogan's Heroes. Bill Cosby from fucking... was it called The Cosby Show? No, that was the 80s. But there was a show called The Bill Cosby Show, I think. Who knows? Which was a fucking jam. But yeah, I gotta wonder. Like I told you, I watched Mannix and Cannon. I gotta think to myself about all the shit Mike Connors and William Conrad did. Although those weren't sitcoms. Boy, Archie Bunker. What about Carroll O'Connor? Well, he was a liberal dude. I mean, maybe, but also, who cares? He was a fucking monster. I'm sure Bill Cosby was a liberal dude. Harvey Weinstein was a liberal dude. Politics have nothing to do with the fact that you're a goddamn monster and you're fucking raping chicks and doing all sorts of nasty stuff and being a terrible guy. And then you get called out. And then, as we've always proven in this country, it's like, well, we give people second chances. So Harvey Weinstein, who's been called out by, I mean, I've lost track, but it's probably 15 women at this point. And that's just the ones who are on the record. I mean, there's got to be a ton of anonymous women. I mean, obviously, there's a million more than 15. This is a guy who he probably did this kind of shit every goddamn day, but he thinks he's gonna get a second chance. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go do some sex rehab and I'm gonna come back and I hope everybody will understand, you know. And then he's losing the narrative. He doesn't realize this is the bad time for this. Like 5 years ago, he could maybe spin the fuck out of this stuff. But people are starting to lose their appetite for letting guys get off with this nonsense. You know, Cosby gets off. Every cop who shoots a guy gets off. It just seems like nothing gets done with the people who actually are monsters. And Trump gets away with fucking swinging his dick around. And I'm not making it political. I'm not making it that. I'm just talking about guys who get away with shit. Anybody who gets away with something, you're just like, man, what the fuck? But Weinstein thinks he's going to get away with it. He's going to get a second chance. Like I said, 5 years ago, maybe, but not now, man. Not now. And when I talk about the fact that, you know, that Weinstein thought he was getting fucking laid and he was, I don't know if he thought he was a good guy or he thought he was getting girls because he was sexy or whatever. But no, you could tell that he knew it was the power and the bullshit. And that was what he got off on. Did you hear that fucking clip of him with the girl trying to get her into his fucking room? No, he's like begging her 5 minutes. No, 5 minutes. Come with me for 5 minutes. And look, we've all been in a spot where we're maybe pushing to get laid. All right, maybe it's closing time at the bar and you're trying to close the deal with some girl who you've been working all night long and you think you're going to get her and then you don't. And you feel weird because you're like trying too hard and you know you're trying too fucking hard. You appear desperate because you don't want to fuck your hand again that night. And you feel bad about it. You know, you fucking split from the bar or whatever. You know, you don't wind up with the girl. Or if you ever wind up with a girl under those fucking circumstances, you're just like, yeah, this is fucking weak. This is just, if you ever have to cajole a woman into being with you, and because I hear stories all the time about women, they're like, yeah, I just fucked this guy so he'd leave me alone. And I'm like, God damn, what a fucking terrible, lonely, horrible thing to have to do or say. But it's probably true. You know what I mean? It's because men are fucking persistent jagoffs. I've been a persistent jagoff. I've talked about it on fucking past shows. But at the same time, I have that built-in humility where I can't be too persistent about it because I would hate myself. I heard that fucking clip of Weinstein begging the woman to get into his room, and I'm like, how could you ever consider this a triumph? Like, even if you did get her in the room and she did fucking capitulate and you want to banging the shit out of this chick, how fucking terrible are you for having to beg her to get into the room? What kind of a triumph is that? How does that make you happy? Because I'm a guy, sex is love for me. So it's like if we do that, I'm going to wind up wrapping you up in legs and arms, and I'm holding you close, and I'm not letting you go. I don't want you to go anywhere. I'm all about afterglow. I'm all about fucking, fucking foreplay and afterglow. That's high. That's my tag team. The rest of it, I mean, all the stuff in the middle is fucking great too, but I'm such an emotional fucking vacuum that I suck up the love of the beginning and the end. That's what I want because I'm a fucking pleaser. I want you to feel whatever. Who cares? Without getting into too much about my fucking self. But that's the whole point. I mean, if I have, it's not just about. I mean, I can jerk off by myself and not have to worry about looking you in the eyes and seeing the disappointment. You know what I mean? If we're in it, I'm in it, and you're gonna feel fucking great. And I'm gonna do everything I can to do that, and I'm gonna bring whatever I bring to the table, and hopefully it works, and we're all together and happy on that, and we can land in a place where because it's all about you're giving, and but that these guys aren't giving. They're all about fucking taking. And I see and I hear that fucking clip and I see this guy talking about getting a second chance and I'm like, fuck this guy. Drum him the fuck out. I don't want to see him sitting across from Barbara Walters in 2 years and going, well, I learned my fucking lesson. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck how much money you have. Dis-a-fucking-peer. Nobody cares about you and your fucking feelings and you're like, oh, well, these women. And so, I mean, look, believe women. Just believe them. And everybody's like, oh, well, sometimes women make shit up and sometimes this happens. I don't fucking think so. I don't think any woman wants to put herself through the agony of talking about how she got raped by Harvey fucking Weinstein. And people are like, well, they stuck around and they still went ahead and got acting jobs and they sent nice emails. It's like, well, fuck, because they're scared to death. Because the power that guy fucking wielded in the industry and in this town is just fucking immense. And if you wanted to make a career, I mean, look, read the thing. There are women who actually left acting. They went, fuck this. If this is what it takes, I got to go. There was a girl, she was a temp. The first fucking day he started on her. She's a goddamn temp. First day of the company, he starts on her. He locks her in a room and he's telling her, hey, I can make your career. And she's a fucking temp. What did she have in mind? Was she coming to town to be an agent? Was she coming to town to be an actress? Doesn't matter. He fucking saw something he wanted and he swooped in like a goddamn monster and he ruined her fucking life. And everybody's like, oh, well, you should get over it. No, fuck you. You get over it. Have your daughter have something like that happen and you tell her to get over it. Fuck that. Yeah, there's bootstraps and everybody's going to move on. But if you got some fucking lecherous blob telling you to give him a massage, he lays there with his fucking robe open and he has you fucking lotion and you're just like, why am I fucking here? Why am I here? We've all been in situations where we're like, why the fuck am I here? Well, imagine if the situation, if your why am I here consisted of giving a hand job to a fucking troll, like, and not even like online troll, or I'm talking an absolute under the bridge motherfucking 3 questions asking you before you get cast into the pit. You better have the answers fucking troll, like disgusting. And when he was like, can you watch me shower and shit like that? I mean, that's all just pathetic. How the fuck do you even approach a woman like, oh, can you watch me shower? How do you get off on that? It's not even getting off on the sex part. You're just a rapist. It's just about power at that fucking point. Come watch me shower. What the fuck? What could you possibly want from that? Other than making a woman stand in one spot and not move. That's the only fucking thing you get from that. So kill this dude. I mean, I look, and I'm not saying assassinate him. We can't do that, right? Can we? Is anybody out there want to take a poke at him? I thought about that yesterday, man. How are these people still alive? All these people that are ruining the fucking country and are just scared to death and clinging to whatever scrap of power they could possibly have. How aren't they dying? You know, we got Tom Petty, 66. He's fucking dying because he lived the life of a rock star. But then you got Trump, he's 70, and for some reason it just seems like he's going to keep going. Is it golf? Is golf the fucking common denominator? If so, good. Alice Cooper will live forever. But Jesus fucking Christ, how are these guys not getting... I mean, there's cancer and heart disease and all sorts of shit lurking around the corner, but it's just not taking the right guys. I read a story about a Mississippi senator, Troy, whatever the fuck, I don't even know. And he's the head of the Appropriations Committee. And he won't resign. He's 79 years old. And he can barely speak. Like, he was in a meeting and he's voting yes when they told him to vote no. They had to tell him 6 times and he finally changed his vote. I mean, he's a fucking shell. There's nothing left to him. But is power that much of a fucking draw that you have to stay in office? Like, you just quit. You're 79 years old. Go fucking stare at a stream and watch fucking trout spawn. Do something with your fucking life rather than destroying this country that you claim to love. All these old fucking dudes are just ruining everything. And I'm old. Take it from me. I'm old. I'm ruining everything. I'm sitting here fucking trying not to spit into a microphone and call him fellatio for falsetto. I'm a fucking guy who's ruining everything too. Don't listen to me. I used to be good at this. The fuck? How the fuck did I spin off into that nonsense? Fucking Weinstein. And never mind. All right, so he's terrible. Fucking kill him. Kill his brother. Kill the whole board. Kill the company. And, you know, I'm petrified to see what's going to happen with Tarantino. Not going to lie. He had a statement that he released through Amber Heard, who, or was it Amber Tamblyn? I don't know. It was one of the Ambers. One of the Ambers came to the table. Look how bad I am. I just grouped these women into one of the Ambers. But one of the Ambers came up with Tarantino's statement. He didn't himself give it. And he said he was heartbroken about Harvey. And nothing's ever the right thing to say. You know what I mean? Unless he said, hey, kill Harvey and these women are right. There's nothing that he can do that's going to spare him, because then everybody's like, well, wait till the truth comes out about him and wait till we hear about the things that he did. And everybody's painting these broad brush people that were acquaintances of fucking Weinstein, and now everybody's guilty by association. And I don't fucking know, man. I'm hoping beyond hope that Tarantino doesn't have anything like this in his fucking past. Will it ruin the work that I love? No. But will it make me think twice about him as a guy? Fuck yes, of course. I mean, look, he's got to have some foot stories out there that are lurking, right? I think there was some woman who was an intern who put out a foot story about him a couple of years ago where he rubbed her feet or something. I don't want to know. I don't want to know about anything. I just want to tunnel in and fucking hide. I just want to be on my suit and tie shit, and show me a few things. I just want to spend my house. I want to build a wall of jeans and hide behind it. I just want to hide into a jeans fort. Just fucking build up. I'll have the 38s on the top because they cover the roof, and then in the front I got the 44s for extra reinforcement. In the back I got the 42s, 40s on either side of me because I got to get in and out the sides quick. I just want to hide from this fucking world because everything you love goes away. Everything gets turned. And look, I didn't love Harvey Weinstein, but I mean, just everybody's everyone's got a story and it's going to come out, and then everybody's going to, and that's because that's the thing is every time now someone tries to come up, all right, I'm going to say this. Remember Kathy Griffin? Remember when that happened a few months ago? She held a Trump mask that was covered in blood, and then and her career ended. Her career ended. Meanwhile, we got Weinstein asking for a second chance, and we got Bill Cosby getting off on these fucking trials and shit like that. But Kathy Griffin, she held a mask, and everybody claimed that she was sick and she was a monster and she should be fucking and drummed out of show business. And it looks like she was, as far as I can tell, unless she comes back in 2 years from across this table from Barbara Walters. I know she gave another interview just a couple of months ago where she was like, "I'm not backing out and I'm not apologizing." Well, a little late because you already backed out and you already apologized. So to come back stronger in the face of that, I mean, I hope it works out for you. But again, that's the faux outrage in this country. We take somebody like that who holds a mask. And I guess we're not really faux outraging Weinstein. He's getting what he deserves. But if he makes a comeback, I'll fucking vomit. Why am I even talking about him? Fuck, I'm at the baseball game. All right, so I'm at the Dodger game. And I got to run across the fucking parking lot. And not run, hustle. So I'm pushing, though. And again, like I said, I'm a big dude now. And I got big legs, but it doesn't matter when you're fucking moving like that. I'm moving, I'm running, I'm walking. I'm trying to get across the goddamn parking lot. And then I get to right field because I'm in left field. I got to walk all the way through the parking lot. And it's fucking hot here. That's what I was saying. Somebody stole my autumn. In October. Did I even get to that part yet? I don't think I fucking did. I was looking. I love college football. I love college baseball. Fucking World Series playoff baseball. I love hockey. I love NBA. It's all going at one time. And then there's a breeze at night. It can be like 60 degrees and fucking breezy, and it's just fucking fantastic. I love the weather. Even during the day, it's like 65. There might be a leaf falling that looks beautiful as it spins to the ground helicopter style, and you're like, you're wistful for the change of seasons, and you're a little melancholy because you're like, another year gone by. Even though there's 4 months left in this year, but still, it seems like the year's over because things are dying outside, and that's fine. Not so much in California, but everywhere else. But still, we get a fall here. We do get it where it gets a little cold, but not now. Somebody stole my autumn, man. It was 90 degrees here today. 90 fucking degrees. 93, actually. And then it's going to get down. I think by the weekend, it's going to get to be 77. But then next week, it's going to be 96 again on like Tuesday and Wednesday. What the fuck, man? And look, I understand the world is over and global warming has claimed us all, and it's because you motherfuckers and your hairspray. I blame poison. That's who I blame. Ricky fucking Rocket. It's his fucking fault it's 96 degrees here because him and Brett Michaels punched a fucking hole in the ozone layer. Him and did Bobby Dahl do it? I don't know if Bobby Dahl did it, but I'm sure that Ricky Rocket and fucking and Brett Michaels and CC DeVille, the three of them, just the three of them, they used so much Aquanet, it punched a hole in the fucking ozone layer right above the Sunset Strip, and that's why it's 97 degrees by my fucking house. Fucking poison. Oh my God. Look what the cat track did. So I'm hustling in the parking lot and I'm rolling and it's hot. So again, like I said, somebody stole my autumn. If it's fall, if it's regular fucking playoff baseball weather, I'm rolling and I'm fine. But instead I get to right field. Now let me tell you a little bit about Dodger Stadium. It's fucking old. It's been around forever. Chavez Ravine. I mean, it's the most beautiful ballpark because the view of the mountains and the trees from outside the fucking the outfield walls. It's blue on the inside. It's just a gorgeous park. However, because it's old, it doesn't have a lot of the accoutrement of your modern parks. In left field, it's got a couple of staircases, but those lead to an escalator. And the escalator takes you all the way up to the reserve level, which is fine. However, if you're sitting in right field, which I don't usually very often, I usually sit in left field. So what do? I make myself use the stairs and then the escalator. It works out perfectly. I avail myself of the escalator that's there, and I climb on it, and it takes me to the top, spaceship style. So I'm hustling. I get to right field, and what do I see in right field? I see like 5 staircases. Actually, you know what I see? I see the 5 stair steps. You know what I see? I see the 5 heartbeats. I see all these fake Motown bands lurking. And I'm like, what are those cats doing there? And they said, I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. And I said, that doesn't make sense. There's not a cloud in the goddamn sky. You know why? Fucking poison. Blame those motherfuckers. I said, we have a cage match, the 5 heartbeats against fucking poison. Let's go fake Motown versus fake metal. Have them in a big fucking throwdown. To fix the ozone layer. I don't know if it'll fix it. I don't know how that works. But let's get repairing it. Let's get poison a ladder. Climb up, fellas. Do me a favor, sew up that ozone layer that you fucked up. Here, I'll give you 30 pairs of jeans to cover the hole in the ozone layer. Honestly, I could have done it with my old jeans. When I was fucking crazy fat, I bet my jeans could have fixed the hole in the ozone layer. Just fucking throw them up there. And then everything that comes from the sky would be imbued through a denim hue. Let's get imbued through a denim hue. That's going to be my next CD. I just want a picture of me wearing a fucking chambray shirt and surrounded by jeans, imbued through a denim hue. I'm not writing that down, and I'm not remembering the time code. Somebody please write this on the fan club Joker wall so I can remember that for my next CD. Imbued through a denim hue, or with a denim hue. I forgot what I even said so far. I'll tell you what, whoever's writing it on the wall, pick the best one. Imbued through a denim hue or imbued with a denim hue. Let's vote. Let's put up a poll. Somebody else put up that poll on the Joker's page. Nobody's doing any of this. Nobody listens to this fucking show anymore. Why do I even do it? Why do I even talk and record? There's like 8 people who listen, which are awesome, and I love those 8 people, but then everybody else is just like, dude, why are you, I don't understand. That wobbly table has fucked it up for everybody. You and your fucking microphone nonsense. Counting down, TikTok. Did you have a sound check? You need a producer. Fuck. Everybody's got something to say. So, hi. So I make my way over to the 5,000 staircases, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, what am I going to do here? Well, the only thing I can do would just walk up the fucking stairs. And normally, I wasn't even daunted by it on Sunday. I'm just like, I gotta walk up the fucking stairs. But I will tell you this. There was a woman sitting at, like, she was standing at the foot of the first staircase, just looking up as if she was heading toward heaven. Like she didn't know what the fuck she was going to do. And I walked up to the staircase and I just put me in those cases. Cause I know me and I know where I'm at now. You know, when I was thinner, when I got back down to like 250 or whatever, I was fine. That kind of shit, I didn't care. And sometimes I take the steps 2 at a time just to show off and remember the fucking glory days. But this time around, I just got to put my head down and go up. Grab the banister with one hand and just pull. So I got a little less stress on my knees. I kind of lean a little bit and I just head up one step at a goddamn time. And I get to the top of that staircase and I kind of take a breath and I take a few steps and I get to the next staircase and I walk up those. And these aren't like fancy, mahogany staircases. These are cement fucking staircases. And there's people coming down and people around. And I just put my head down and, I'm not on the verge of collapse. But at the same time, it's, it's still a good 75, 100 stairs that you got to go up. Which, again, to normal people, that doesn't sound like that daunting of a task. But when you're carting 330 pounds up fucking those stairs with the knees that have been carrying around any number of pounds over the years. Because my knees, I'll tell you what, my knees are fucking shot. Not shot like I can't move, but shot like getting out of a car. I got to do a little extra tug with the fucking hands. I can't exactly just lean on my fucking, I have to push off now with my hands on like a chair on the arms to get up because I'm big again, which doesn't help, but my fucking knees have been through it and they're just ready to fucking go on strike and just go, man, fuck you, dude. You know what? You lost weight before and you put some fucking, some relief on our side, but now this is not going to work. So my knees are barking quite a bit, and they just fight with me, and they argue, and they get angry, and they get upset. I have a lot of arguments with my knees. Me and my knees sit down, and we have a discussion back and forth. So I get to these stairs, I just put my head down, I just fucking go up. And my knees are growling, but I don't fucking care. And they don't make a lot of noise anymore. If I'm going downstairs, sometimes they like, I should put my microphone to my knees, and you can hear them if I'm going up and down. Should I do? No, I shouldn't do that. That's gross. You already heard my eyes. What if I fucking did that? Body symphony. Hey, get this. Here's my knuckles. All right. So, and then check out my knee. Idiot. So I make it, like I said, there's 5 staircases. I make it up 1, I make it up 2, make it up 3. And then the last one, of course, this is the weirdest fucking thing. There's 10 steps on the first like 3 or 4 staircases. And then the last staircase has like 40 steps. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Why couldn't you just build the big one first and then you go up the short ones? But no, instead they go reverse. It's like Survivor. Like you just bodies strewn all around all the staircases. You have to walk through them as you're just sobbing, and you just climb up and just put your head down and make it way to the top. So I get to the final staircase, man, and I put my fucking head down and I just walk up. And I'm moving and walking, and I just get my head down and I'm sweating, and I get to the top, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I got a breath thing happening, and so I have to control it. I was to keep myself from breathing heavy, I have to breathe in and hold it, and I'm just to control my breath and get my heart rate back underway, which I'm familiar with again from doing regular cardio on the fucking treadmill. But this is straight up. This isn't just straightforward. And so I walk over to the gate, and Jimmy is not there. I told him to find his seat, and he had sent me my ticket electronically so I could use it to get in. But he said, text me if you've got a problem getting in. And I always have bad reception at Dodger Stadium, so I pull up. I finally get off the final staircase. I stagger up toward the gates, and I grab my phone, and I pull it out. And there's a text from Jimmy that I didn't realize just comes. It had come in like 8 minutes previous, and it just says, "Where are you? I've got the ticket. Whatever." So I lean on. They have these big fucking abstract sculptures up at the top by Dodger Stadium. Some of them are baseball related, some are just kind of funky. So I lean on it. I'm looking at my phone, and sweat's running down my face, and I can't imagine what I must have looked like. But I know I looked bad, and here's why: because two guys in suits come walking up to me, and not patrons, mind you, Dodger employees. And not the regular ushers. You have the regular ushers there with the hats and and like I said, there's the yellow coat guys, the event staff dudes. There's regular ushers checking tickets. These dudes, I don't know if they were supervisors. I don't know if they were fucking medical professionals. I don't know who the fuck they were. All I know is they thought they needed to come out from behind the gate to come and talk to me. And I'm leaning on this sculpture. I got my phone out and I'm kind of sweating and I'm like I'm breathing. I'm staggering my breathing so I can get a hold of it. And that, maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what drew them out of the gate, because they saw me breathing so irregularly, and they came out, two dudes in suits with walkie-talkies. And one of them's on the walkie-talkie, and he's literally saying, hey, he's giving the location where they are, and he's asking for medical professionals. Is there anyone on close by? Well, the other guy in the suit looks at me and he goes, sir. And I look up and he goes, are you all right? And I said, pardon me? And the other dude, like I said, I can hear him. He's on the fucking walkie-talkie. He's like, yeah, can we get, some medical over here at the right field reserve? And the other guy goes, are you okay? I'm just, you're here leaning. And I mean, I can't imagine. I just must have looked like a bag of shit. I mean, I just must have looked fucking terrible. And I'm sure I was flush and sweaty. And so I looked at him and I go, no, dude, I'm good. And he goes, you sure? I go, yeah, just fat guy stares in 90-degree weather. It's just not a good combination. And he goes, oh, okay, but you're fine. And I go, yeah. And he looks at the other guy and he waves off the medical personnel. He goes, yeah, it's a fucking 86, the medical personnel, whatever the fuck he said. But Jesus Christ, how bad must I have looked that two guys in suits made their way out of the gate to come up to me, and they're already calling for medical personnel because they can see me breathing like trying to fucking get a grip on myself and not fucking fall over. It was beautiful. So I was just like, yeah, that's great. So I think I texted Jimmy, hey, I may be dead at the gate, but I'm on my way in. And I was able to use my electronic ticket. And he was inside there. And I told him, I go, dude, I must have looked fucking terrible. And he goes, well, you don't look so good now, which is, of course, Jimmy being fantastic. And I explained to him what the fuck happened. We just laughed. We're just like, and you have to laugh, because what are you going to do? You going to cry about it? Just like, man, I must look fucking terrible. It's hilarious. God damn, am I stupid? Oh, man, am I out of shape and almost dead? But then we went into the game and we had a good time. Didn't care for the ending. Dodgers with a walk-off bomb. Justin Turner in the bottom of the ninth, which was, and we saw it coming too. We were just like, you don't want to face Turner. That's the guy you don't want to see. Don't face Turner. And then Joe Madden brings in fucking Lackey, and you're just like, what are you doing, man? Wade Davis is out there. Wade Davis has got to be hurt. That's my only, because they burned the fuck out of him in the National Series, so he's got to be. He has to be hurting. That's the only thing I can think of. Like they're only going to use him for an inning at a time, or they're just saving him for some big fucking 2-inning save or something. I can't even imagine. But how do you not bring him into that fucking game? You're on the road with a chance to fucking hold them, and they'd already burned Jansen. They pinch hit for fucking Jansen. So you wouldn't have had to see him in the 10th. This is revisionist history because their Cubs are already down 3-0. So fuck. But they can do this. They can win 4 games in a row. Because I'll tell you what, the big game is with fucking game 4 with Jake Arrieta, because that guy's a fucking monster. He's going to ether the goddamn Dodgers. Trust me on that. I'm calling it right now. Arrieta ethers the fucking Dodgers. Because you know what? The weather's against him. If it was cold, I would totally be all over Arrieta, because he throws this heavy ball, and it fucks guys up, and it stings their hands, and they don't want to fucking swing at it. I don't even know what the weather's like in Chicago, but it looked warm. Guys are wearing fucking shirt sleeves and shit. That's no good. Who stole our autumn? Where's our autumn, goddammit? Bring fall back. I like fall. But we had a good time at the game. It was fun, except for the fact this woman kept hitting us with rally towels. The woman kept hitting me, and then there was a drunk behind fucking Pardo who bumped at him a couple times. And he was a drunk Dodger fan. He was having fun. He wasn't malicious or mean. At one point, he leaned over to me because the Cubs... It was in like the 7th. The Cubs gave up a walk and an error or something, or a walk and a ground out. I didn't even know what the fuck happened. But the Dodgers had 2 guys on, and I was on the phone because I was getting a text. So I was sending somebody a text, and he leans over and he goes, "You got to put your phone away." Oh, pardon me. He goes, "You got to put your phone away. If you're gonna watch your team unravel, you got to watch your team unravel. You don't get to fucking hide in your phone." And I said, well, I'm not hiding in my phone, and nobody's unraveling. I'm telling you right now, they're getting out of this. And he laughed, and we all laughed. But at the same time, I wanted to go, dude, who the fuck are you? But he was being funny. He thought he just had a few too many beers, so he was too aggressive with it. And also, he hadn't said anything all game, and then all of a sudden, like in the 7th, he dropped that on me, and I'm like, dude, yeah, fuck you. Because I'm a lovely person. But if I am a lovely person, because if I was going to say fuck you, the woman behind me had a rally towel, and she kept hitting me in the head with it. Because they have to spin it, and she would spin it, and then she would lower it, and it would just hit me every time. It would land on my head like blonk, blonk. I'm getting plunked with a goddamn rally towel. And a couple times she apologized, but then a couple times I don't think she even realized. One time she whipped me in the side of the head with it, like good, to the point where in my head I went, all right, hold on a second. She's been apologizing, but that time she really tagged me and never said a word. Is she just testing boundaries at this point? Like if she just starts snapping me with it, like 6th grade locker room style, do I just fucking then look up and go, what are you doing? She's like, sorry. Hey, I'm sorry. Rally. Haha, Dodgers. Go blue. I don't know. But I mean, you know me. I always think everybody's fucking trying to get me anyway. Like they're trying to get over. Hey, you trying to get over on me, lady? Snap me with that fucking towel? No, of course you're not. She's not. Why would she be? I saw a lot of crowds this week. I went to Depeche Mode, folks. Yeah, that's right. I went to Depeche Mode with Randy. The beautiful Randy came up from her hometown. I don't want to say where it is because you fucking weirdos. Not all of you are weirdos. But some people have reached out and been very nice, and that's lovely. And thank you. You're all such terrific people, and that's really cool. I got to spend the weekend with Randy. It was great. Other than that Dodger game, she came up Thursday, and we went to Depeche Mode. And I wasn't. It's funny because I had mentioned to her that I wanted to go, so then she fucking gets tickets because she's amazing, and she's seen them a bunch of times. So we went to the Hollywood Bowl, which is always a fucking amazing venue. We took Uber. I'll tell you this: every time I take Uber, I realize that I just reinforced for myself that I am the best Uber driver in the world. I am truly the greatest. I cannot be passed, surpassed, or topped. When we were leaving the fucking Hollywood Bowl, we called the guy, and he just, if you take Uber or Lyft, you get to follow the car around like a video game. This guy's just spinning in fucking circles, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I called him 3 different times, and he's like, yeah, no, I'm down here by the curb. I'm like, I can't go there. Trust me, I go, look, I'm a driver. You have to come get me at the Uber pickup. There's a ride share area. Oh, yeah, they blocked it off. No, they didn't block it off. You tell them you're a ride share guy. You got a sticker in your fucking window? Yeah, okay, well, then they'll see it and they'll let you in. Well, I drove by it looked blocked off. It's like, fuck you, Anthony. God damn it, turn your fucking car around. Trust me, I do this. I hate to be that guy, but I do this for a fucking living, sadly. Living, strong. But we had to wait 40 minutes to get a fucking ride. And it wasn't even busy. Other people are getting picked up. There's tons of other fucking cars. But he would call me and go, yeah, I'm down here. I'm at the bottom of the hill. It's like, I don't fucking care. You got to come to the top of the hill. I can't come down there. The whole point is if I go down there, the cops will make you fucking move. How are you even sitting there? And fucking furious. And again, it's just, that's a 50-year-old man thing to get mad about. So, and then I'm apologizing to Randy like I own Uber or something. And I'm like, honey, I'm sorry about this. And she's like, who cares? And she just sits on my lap. And she's like, who cares? We get to sit here and relax. It's fine. I'm like, all right, cool. But I have that thing in me where I don't ever want to look dumb in front of somebody like that you care about. Because I'm like, yeah, we'll just take an Uber to and from. She's like, oh, yeah, it sounds like a good idea. I did that instead of driving. But then I feel guilty like I copped out of driving. So then when the Uber screws up, I feel like I screwed up and I have to have an apology because I'm a fucking weirdo. Look at me pulling back the curtain on my fucking haunted head. And so then I'm like, oh, yeah, no, honey, it's usually not like this. It's usually fast. And she's just like, honey, it's okay. Who cares? She literally I think she put her hand on my mouth once. And she's like, nah, it's okay. Gives me a kiss and sits down. I'm like, all right, great. But in the interval of the show, man, fucking, like, I've never seen Depeche Mode, and they're on the list. I wanted to see them, and I don't love them. It's not like they're one of my favorite bands, but to see them in Southern California was one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I got to do this, because they are one of the first bands that sold out the Rose Bowl. I mean, in '88 they played the fucking Rose Bowl. I mean, they were huge here. They were a band, like when I moved here from Chicago, like I didn't know a fucking thing about Depeche Mode. MTV opened up this weird world for me in '81 and '82 where I started to discover these bands like Duran Duran that I never would have listened to. It was all about Zeppelin and REO and Van Halen for me, and that's what I was listening to on the loop in fucking Chicago. But then MTV comes along and I'm like, man, who the fuck is Classics Nouveau? That's a jam. The singer looks ridiculous, but that's a badass song. Who's Altered Images? Who's Oingo Boingo? Man, I fucking loved Oingo Boingo. Still do. I love Oingo Boingo. There's like fucking 10 songs that are amazing. And that's how I felt about Depeche Mode when I heard them. And then it's funny, when I moved out here in '88, Lenny had gone full K-Rock. Lenny had fully embraced Depeche Mode, fully embraced those bands. And he loved it. He loved Tears for Fears. I mean, not just the hits, but he had the first, because I had to hear that first album. Jesus Christ, Lenny played the fuck out of that first fucking Tears for Fears album with Change, Change. You know that song? Who am I talking to? you know that song? Nobody in My House. House seems strong again. I'm doing a lot of strong stuff here. I'm really. I should do the show in fellatio, shouldn't I? All right. So Depeche Mode, I had to see them. I wanted to see them in L.A. And I told Randy, and then she got the tickets, and she's seen them a bunch of times. And then we went, and let me tell you about the show. It was what's the word I would use? Brooding is the word I would use. David Gahan sure does like spinning. This made me laugh. Arian, I don't want to say her name because I don't want to say her last name. Arian from Austin, Texas. She's a fan of the show and a friend and a listener. She made me a peanut butter and jelly cake once when I was down in Austin. It was fucking fantastic. Well, Arian's my friend on Instagram, and I posted a photo of me and Randy from the Depeche Mode concert, and Arian wrote, "I just saw them. David Gahan sure loves spinning." And it made me laugh when she wrote it because, oh my God, does he love spinning. To the point where I was talking to Randy, I said, you know what? I'm just going to I'm going to grow a pencil thin mustache and get a leather vest and spin all day long. That looks like the fucking move. That looks like the goddamn plan. But it was a brooding fucking show, man. It was a dark set list. I guess I found out from Randy because she's seen them before and she said it can be like a dance party. Like that's what she was planning on doing, was just fucking dancing her ass off. But then they played all these really heavy, kind of dark, and I dug it, actually, because that's exactly what I expected. I expected it to be dark and brooding, because to me, there's Just Can't Get Enough, which is a fucking crazy-ass dance song, but then I know them from, Never Not Really Down Again, and fucking the Violator album, and Personal Jesus, and all that shit is dark to me. But I guess the early stuff wasn't so dark, because, it was these dudes who heard a Kraftwerk album and said, we can do that, ding, 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 and so they jumped around and they were all happy. But then Dave Gahan went, oh, by the way, I hate life, and then they wrote a bunch of fucking songs where he made a video where he's like, the king of pain, and he's in a fucking robe walking around. People are people, but then there's Master and Servant. They didn't do Master and Servant, and they didn't do People Are People the night I was there. It was crazy. Like I said, I same with them. I know probably like 12 songs, and I think they did 6 of them when I was there. But it didn't fucking matter because the place was packed. The energy was great. Everybody sang along. They did Everything Counts, which makes me happy. That's all I wanted. They did not do Blasphemous Rumors, which I was very upset about. Well, not upset, but I would have liked to have heard it. But they did Somebody, which was big. They also did Question of Lust, which was fucking big. And both of those songs were sung by Martin Gore, and he did them both stripped the fuck down. Like Somebody is just him and a goddamn piano. And same thing with the Question of Lust, and he sounds amazing. Like, look, Gahan sounds great. He's still David Gahan, but boy, Martin Gore, because that's the hard part, to hit those, to be high up like that and sing that. And I have to admit, when Somebody started, I didn't expect it. And if you know it, you know what the song's about, and it's about, I want somebody to. I can't do it. I'm not gonna offend Martin Gore any more than I already have. I don't want to I will never let Martin Gore down again. I don't want to let him down again. So, but when Somebody played, it was pretty great because the whole place sang, except for me and Randy, because I looked at her and I slow danced with her, which is our first ever slow dance, which was pretty neat. And to do it in the middle of the Hollywood Bowl and with 15,000 people singing, basically to us with Martin Gore. And, she buried her face in my chest and we danced. And it was really, really great. It was one of those cool ass moments where you're just like, yeah, let's do this. I looked at her and we're dancing, and I grabbed her and we did it. It was really fun. But then they came back and this is weird. They did Heroes by David Bowie. And it seemed like the crowd didn't know it, which was fucking bananas to me. Like they didn't sing it with him, or at least not as much as they sang the other songs. But also, I got to double check it. I think Gahan blew the words on it. He kept singing the same verse over and over. Like he never got to the, we'll drive you away. He never got to that part, which was weird to me. But it didn't matter. I love the fact that they did it because that song's a fucking jam. And then, of course, they close with Personal Jesus. The place goes crazy, and we walk out, and then we wait for an Uber for 45 minutes. And I apologize profusely, but it doesn't matter. What I should have done is just grabbed fucking Randy and slow danced at the Uber stand. That would have made everything better. But then Randy lives far from me, but not super far. Like, she's a car ride away. But, it's a haul, especially with traffic in fucking LA. I mean, everything, it might as well be a fucking flight away, for fuck's sake. So she came up Thursday because we had plans for the weekend, and I was like, well, why don't you just stay? Because she was really going to come up Thursday and then turn around. But I asked her to stay, so she stayed Friday. And then we had talked about, we went to a wedding on Saturday. I was invited to a wedding, and I asked her if she would go with me, and she said yes. So the wedding was in Long Beach. We were going to leave Friday and go stay at her parents' place in Long Beach, and then we did not because I wanted to stay at the house here. I just wanted to just be here with her and relax and not have to fucking hustle down there. And again, it's that thing where it's the George Carlin A Place for My Stuff bit, where you're like, well, she's got some of her stuff and she brings it here from her place, and then she's got to get an even smaller version of her stuff to go down to Long Beach, and then even a more smaller version to go to Palm Springs, where we went on Saturday. And I just was like, let's fucking just relax. We'll go to the concert on Thursday, and then we'll spend all day here Friday. We'll get up early on Saturday and go to the wedding, which is what we did. We hung out here in the apartment, which was great, had a sushi party. That seems like something. Basically what it means is we got sushi, and that's what I called the sushi party. So there was no balloons involved, there was no noisemakers. Well, there was certainly noise making later that night, but it had nothing to do with sushi. So anyway, Saturday, see, this is the shit I said I wasn't going to do, but I'm doing it anyway. So Saturday we get up, and this is when you regret your plan, when you have to get up at 6:30 in the morning for a 9 a.m. wedding. Yeah, that's right, a 9 a.m. wedding. I don't fucking get it either. I mean, that's people who can't wait to be fucking married. That's people who are just like, you know what? We're getting married on a Saturday. Let's get married as early as fucking possible. You know what? We don't want to waste one more day of not being married. Let's get married early on a Saturday fucking morning. And that was listeners, our listeners, Jolene and Dr. Mike. And Dr. Mike insists on being called Dr. Mike because he's a doctor. And you know what? Fuck that. It's funny. In your head, first of all, he doesn't insist on being Dr. Mike. He's like Mike Verone in the fan club. Go find him. I'll put up a picture. But Mike and Jolene are getting married. But he's Dr. Mike on the air because he does a spot on other podcasts, or at least he did. I think they have their own podcast now. I'm not sure. Look, it was a very podcast incestuous wedding, and I'll get to that in just a second. But Jolene and Dr. Mike invited me to the wedding because I guess, and I don't want to be that guy who takes too much credit for this, but I'm responsible for Jolene and Dr. Mike meeting. And I'm responsible for Jolene and Dr. Mike becoming an item, and I'm responsible for Jolene and Dr. Mike eventually becoming married. Why? Because listeners of this show like to fuck. How about that? Take that. Don't play this for your family, Jolene and Dr. Mike, please. Jolene's father was so nice. I don't want him to hear this, because I'll get to that in a second. But no, so Jolene and Dr. Mike, apparently, there was a show a million years ago that was based in Winnipeg, Canada, and our friend Sandra D. Sanchez did that show, and she was a co-host on it, and it was a couple of postmen called, and I don't even know if the show's still up, but it was a show called Return to Sender, and Sandra and I developed like a friendship, and then I was on their show, and Dr. Mike lived, I think, in Vancouver, and Jolene lived in California. Or Dr. Mike lived in Northern California, and Jolene lived in Southern California. I don't know. I don't want to get too much into who lived where. I don't want to give you too much of a beat on these people. I don't want to GPS their fucking existence, but I will tell you this. They heard of me through the Return to Sender show, and then they started listening to me, or I could have that backwards. And there's a reason why, because I think I have two different versions because people are drinking. They may have heard of the Return to Sender show through me because I was talking about Sandra, or they heard of me through the Return to Sender show. Either way, the two of them wound up contributing segments to the Return to Sender show. They did a medical advice thing because, like I mentioned, Dr. Mike is Dr. Mike, and Jolene is a person who does acupuncture, is going to school and learn Chinese medicine. So she is exactly who I will turn to when I have a Chinese Rick, unless I tell him that I'm sending him back home, like I said earlier. So then they started this segment called East-West Medicine, and they did that on the show. But the point is they fell in love while talking and going back and forth, and it was all because of me. And I don't mean to say it like that. They say that. I'm not the one taking credit. They're the ones who say that it was me who actually kind of created this opening for them. So they invited me to their wedding because they wanted me to be there when they talked about their love and everything else, which was great. And I mean, I was honored because this is the second listener wedding I've gone to because, like I said, listeners to this show like to get together and fuck. Derek and Mara. How rude is that I just said that about them? I went to their wedding in Las Vegas, and I went to this wedding in Long Beach. Now, Derek and Mara had the good sense to get married at a decent hour. I think they got married at like 11 o'clock. But again, fucking Jolene and Dr. Mike get married at 9 o'clock in the goddamn morning. Holy God, in a Japanese garden in the sea. There was an octopus there and everything. So Randy's parents, like I said, they live close to there. So we were going to go spend the night there and get up and go. But then I said, fuck that. So we got up, we got showered and dressed. And the thing is, Randy's car was here. So then we had to drive separately. I had to meet her in Long Beach anyway at her parents' house. She dropped that off. I picked her up and she looked beautiful. She changed into a nice dress and got showered and cleaned up because, at 6:45, I hogged the shower and we rolled. And then we go to the wedding and it was in this beautiful garden on the campus of, I think it was on Long Beach State, possibly, or Cal Poly Long Beach or whatever the fuck. I don't even know if there's a difference. But whoever plays in the Pyramid, that's Long Beach State, right? Yeah, they play in the Pyramid. So we went to the wedding. We walked in and, there was a brunch afterwards. So I was looking around, they were setting all that up. And I don't know anybody. This is the thing. I'm good in any situation. I can handle myself. I know how to talk to people. I can also avoid talking to people. I can get real small and not get noticed. Or I can be very noticed. So we walk into this fucking Japanese garden. I don't know anybody except Jolene and Dr. Mike, and they're not on premises yet. Obviously, they're not gallivanting or greeting people yet. They're waiting to get married, for fuck's sake. So they're hiding in their respective bullpens, waiting to come out and charge at one another and have their fucking mating dance. And Randy and I come in and we sit down at, of course, the back row because that's what I do. I don't go to the front row. I don't want to be in the front. I don't want to be noticed. I sit in the back. I like to throw spit wads. I like to sit back there and make fun of everything. That's how I like to handle my business. So invite me to your wedding so I can sit in the back and make fun of it. But we sat by this pond. And there were koi in the pond. You could see them fucking flying around. And then there were some ducks lurking. And it was just beautiful grounds. I mean, there's this path, this cobblestone walkway, lovely chairs and tables all set up. And then the ceremony starts. And you know me. All right, I'm that guy sometimes. All of a sudden the ceremony starts. And dude, a whole fucking flock of ducks descends on the pond. And it was great. During the ceremony, like fucking, it had to be 70 ducks. They just come flying in, and then these ducks have a duck fight, and I'm behind. There was a couple in front of us, and these ducks start brawling in the middle of the thing, and I go, that's a terrible metaphor, duck fight. That's for a wedding. You can't have that. And Randy was like, shh. No, she wasn't. She laughed, and then the people in front of me really laughed, which was amazing because they could hear me, and I always think I can't be heard. And then it turns out people around me are hearing me, and they think I'm funny, thankfully. But I'm sure there's some people who are like, hey, lout, shut the fuck up. It's a wedding. But then they did the processional and Dr. Mike was there and they brought Jolene out and all the bridesmaids. It was just, and I'll tell you what, it was a formal wedding, but a casual wedding. It was formal in that it was in this beautiful Japanese grounds. There was, like I said, koi and ducks and everything was set up and it was all regimented. But also the bridesmaid just had to wear dresses with straps. Like she didn't make them wear the fucking uniform. Jolene looked beautiful. Dr. Mike looked amazing. They came out and they took their vows. They had a comedian marry them for some fucking reason. And I look, I don't know, live your life, do whatever you want to do. But anytime the officiant comes out and tries to be funny, this happened at Derek and Mara's wedding too. I don't know if I talked about it on the air. Like Derek and Mara, one of their friends who was the best man or something, he decided to do a fucking roast. Like he went ahead and needed like fucking 15 minutes or something in the middle of the goddamn ceremony. And it's like, I don't know why this is happening, but I'm uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm very uncomfortable by this right now. Well, this officiant kept making jokes about, stuff like, literally like those old school jokes like, well, you guys are together forever. You got to, if you, this is your last chance to run away from one another, like all those kind of silly jokes. And that appeals, I guess, to old people because they think it's funny. But if you're young, and I mean, like I'm old, all right, so it doesn't appeal to me at all. I'm just like, man, this is their most beautiful day ever. Don't make this about you. I mean, maybe that's her gig and that's what they hired her for. But Jesus Christ, just talk about how beautiful they are and give them the fucking experience. But maybe they wanted a floor show. I got no idea. And also, by the way, she wasn't Shecky fucking Green. I mean, she wasn't doing bits the whole fucking time, but she sure did push it a little bit, trying to get laughs. And she's all mic'd up, so she's doing these little asides about the ring, and and I'm in the back and I'm looking at Randy. I'm like, this is why are you having a fucking stand up? And Randy's like, oh, honey. Just because this is Randy's first like event with me, other than Depeche Mode. She just slow danced with me there, which was great. But as far as being in, oh no, bullshit, she was at the Podfest with me. Fuck that. This isn't her first event. This is her first formal event though. At the Podfest, people are coming to see me, so that might be a weird thing for her. But at the wedding, I'm not supposed to be the focal point. So when I'm talking and saying shit like that, she's just kind of like, hey, probably should stop that. But that's a lie. That's me projecting. She had a good time and we had a great time. But then the wedding happens and it was fantastic. Once the wedding ended, we had to get turned over because they bring us out of the Japanese gardens. Then they have to turn it over so people can sit and eat. And we were at table 7, which was fantastic. We walked in and there's, like I said, there's a cobblestone walkway. There's a dessert tray thing. And, Randy and I, we went and sat out in front and there's a juice bar. They got coffee and orange juice. It was just, I don't even know why the fuck I'm telling you all that. That's just incidental. But we were just waiting for the breakfast to be served. And like I said, we were at table 7. And so we met with, I think was it Jennifer? I think Jennifer was there and Deborah. Those are the two who sat in front of us. I remember Deborah. Deborah and Jennifer sat in front of us. And then there was a woman named Shaun T, I think, and Cody was her boyfriend. And then there was Gary and Carly. Now, I remember Gary and Carly because here's why. It wasn't just Gary, ladies and gentlemen. This was Electric Gary. I think. That's a lie. I know it was Electric Gary. Electric Gary has his own podcast. He was also involved in the Return to Sender show. I don't know if he had a segment or if he just knew them or he knew Dr. Mike and got sucked in. I'm not sure exactly how it happened because we were talking and I was trying to get the information and it turned out Deborah insisted on talking to everybody about everything at once and not letting any of us concentrate on any of their conversations. So Deborah was a lovely woman, but boy, did she want to talk a lot to everybody. I thought she'd had a few, which was the weirdest thing. Cause I mean, when the wedding ends at like 10 and then we get turned over, we go to sit down for brunch at 11. I didn't see there's mimosas, but I mean, unless she was two-fisting them or fucking injecting them direct into her goddamn veins, there's no way she should have been this fucking slurry. And now, of course, it's going to turn out she's had a head wound and I'm an asshole. I'm sure it's something like that. But Deborah and Jennifer were lovely. They were nice. Shaun T and Cody were really nice. And Gary and Carly were extremely nice. And Gary and Carly brought a cutout photo of Sandra D. Sanchez. Now, I will tell you this. Nobody knows. The gimmick with Sandra was she didn't give her real name on the show. Her name on the show is Sandra D. Sanchez. And she nobody saw her face. Even on her Facebook page, she never put up any pictures. And if you recall, one of the deals for me to do their show was I needed to know her name and I needed photos of her. And she actually paid off her part of the bargain. So I know her name and I know what she looks like. And she's terrific and great. And I always thought she was really funny. I was disappointed that the show ended because she was really great. So they brought a picture of Sandra, but of course, just her eyes. She's wearing like a parka and a fucking scarf over her face, like Gene Simmons back in the days when he didn't want to be photographed. And they held it on a stick and they kept having people pose with it. So Gary and Carly brought that and Randy and I took a photo with it and everybody at the table did. And then eventually, Jolene's father came over, John, and he was lovely. He was the coolest guy ever. And this is the weird part that I was telling you about. When I first came to the table, everybody else was seated. Randy and I walk up and I go, "Hey, table 7, this is us." And I go, "I'm Mike. This is Randy." And someone goes, "Are you 40-year-old boy, Mike?" And I went, "Oh, yeah." And it turns out that Jolene and Mike had been telling everybody that they had met because of my show. And also telling everybody that I was funny. And then also it turns out they were playing my show as they were getting ready for the wedding and stuff. They were letting people hear. I don't know if they played the show where I talked about them or if they were playing that week's episode, which was about Podfest. But everybody had heard it because once I opened my voice, they go, "Hey, you're 40-year-old boy Mike." "No, we heard your voice." "Yeah, no, Jolene played the show for us." So everybody at the table knew who I was, and Gary knew who I was from a previous thing. And I guess, I don't know if Gary listens to my show or he has listened, but he and Carly were both like, "Oh yeah, no, we know who you are," which was amazing. And they have their own podcast, which they did not give me the name of, or I'd plug it for fuck's sake. But they were great and really nice. But the thing is, like I said, everybody knew me. Her dad walks up, and I go, "Hi, I'm Mike. This is Randy." He goes, "Are you 40-year-old boy Mike?" And I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, yes." Which then made me even feel worse about making the crack about the ducks, because then everybody's like, "Oh man, 40-year-old boy Mike was making duck jokes at your goddamn wedding." But it was so fun. It was so cool, and everybody was so nice. And then Jolene and Mike, of course, they make the rounds. They go to talk to everybody, and they come up to the tables, and they have to take the photographs with everyone. And Mike, he could not have been nicer. He said to everybody, he kept telling them, this is the reason we're here. Mike is the reason we're here. He is basically ground zero of our relationship. And I don't know if it's smart to use a 9/11 metaphor on your wedding day, but he did. He might not have. I may be just attributing that to him for fun. But still, they were both very gracious. Jolene was really terrific, and she looked beautiful, and Mike looked amazing, and we took photographs together. I'll put a photo up on the Jokers page. Randy put some already up on Jolene's page. I don't know if Jolene's going to share them into the 86 Jokers page, but I'll go ahead and I have a couple, I think the same ones actually that Randy posted. And I'll put those up. But it was just a fantastic wedding. It was so great. I'll tell you this. They had the brunch. But before the brunch, like I said, they had mimosas set out and coffee, and they had a snack table with fucking cake and like the pound cake and a blueberry pound cake and a walnut pound cake and an orange pound cake, whatever the fuck. So cakes were there for the taking. So as they're seating everybody for the breakfast, I go up to get some water for myself and try to grab Randy some more coffee. So I go up, and there's a table with the cakes, and there's a woman, and she's got 2 little kids with her. When I say little, they're probably 4. But they're dressed like little men. They're little guys with little button-down shirts on. I always love when little kids have to get dressed up in formal clothes. They look fucking hysterical. And you can just see they're just itchy. They're itchy the whole fucking time, just like fighting against the buttons. And and sure enough, this little kid, there's a table, and if you come from the front, you can get cake. And if you're an adult, you have to come from the front. But little kids, they can slide in all sorts of cracks. So this woman grabs a piece of cake with tongs, and she goes, "Do you want this one?" And this little kid slides over, and he goes around the table, and he reaches up. And I you know how 4-year-olds are. They're tiny. They're little kids with little hands. But for some reason, they can fuck everything up instantly. So this little kid reaches up with his tiny little hands, and I don't know how he did it. There's got to be fucking 30 pieces of cake there. He touches all of them. He touches all of them in 5 seconds. She's like holding one piece of cake. She's like, "Did you want this one?" And immediately he just goes, he's whack-a-moling the shit out of this fucking cake, just like banging on it and making crumbs fucking happen. And I'm like, oh no, because I'm behind her in line. All I'm doing is getting water, but I can see it happening out of the corner of my goddamn eye. And I'm like, oh man, it's just rough enough that these kids are all fucked up, but now you're trying to give him cake, and he spins around the table, and he reaches up, and he literally, I don't know how the fuck he did it. It was just this weird ass 3-card Monty slice of hand with pound cake, but he fucking touched every piece of cake on the goddamn tray. And she's like, no, and that thing where she's got to try to stop him. No, this piece. No, do you want this piece? No, please come around. Because again, this woman's out of her fucking league. She's watching 3 kids at once. And this little kid, I'm not kidding you, he's just tall enough to be, he's basically mouth level with the cake. So if he reaches with his hands and he pulls the cake toward himself, he can put it all in his mouth. If he opens his mouth, it's style, and just fucking hoovers the shit out with a bunch of fangs. But instead, here's what he does. He reaches up and he's like, he's touching all the cake. And she's like, "No, I have a piece for you. No, please, no. I've got the cake for you. Just please, no, I've got the cake for you." And out of nowhere, I see it happen. He reaches, he's like, and he just blasts a fucking sneeze all over the cake. Because again, he's right at perfect mouth level. So you've seen that commercial with the slow motion sneeze. I've seen it too. And it's just droplets. And I know they went across the entire tray. Not only did he touch all 30 pieces of cake, not only were all of them tainted by the tiny hands of a 4-year-old, but then he unleashes that indestructible 4-year-old's cold that never goes away. The one when a kid will get sick in June and he's sick until the end of November, like that kind of bullshit. And he just, I saw, he's like, he's kind of hyperventilating, he's touching the cake, and he just fucking blasts a sneeze all over the cake. And there's a beat of silence because I'm standing there. She doesn't notice me because she's trying to deal with these fucking kids. And then she just reaches over and she goes, no, come, you need to come around. And she grabs him by the fucking arm and shirt and just yanks him around the table and goes, "Here." And with the tongs, takes the piece of cake and just puts it in his mouth. Like not even in his little hands. She just goes, "Open, here." And he does. And she puts the piece of cake in his mouth. Like she's feeding a seal off the fucking pier and Fisherman's Wharf. I didn't see if the tongs touch his mouth, but it doesn't matter. Because this kid just fucking spray painted the entire goddamn plate of cake with his germs. Germs. And they walk away. She doesn't tell a waiter. She doesn't tell anybody. What a villain. But not as much of a villain as me, who just laughed, got his water, and also went back to his table and left the cake intact and never told anybody until I got back to the table and then told everybody. I go, listen, I don't know if anybody here wanted more pound cake, but I'm going to tell you this. Avoid table 2 that has the cake on it because, and then I just told them this fucking story. And that shit happens where you just remember, because again, it's a beautiful wedding. I loved Jolene and Mike. They were so nice to have us, but I'll always remember that little kid just unloading and making himself patient zero of the entire, I'm sure the whole fucking wedding party's sick. Everybody's ill. Their honeymoon is fucking destroyed. And I know why, because that little kid unleashed rubella all over the goddamn pound cake and one of them fucking nibbled on a piece. God damn it. But what a fun time. It was excellent. I mean, we just hung out. We got fucking omelets. We laughed. We had a good time. We took photos. And then Jolene, she's like, look, we're partying all night. We're getting a taco truck at our house. It goes from 4 to whatever. And we would have loved to have gone. We were invited. We were at the wedding until like 12:30. And we had to go. I would have stayed. I would have absolutely gone to the party with the taco truck. But instead, like I said, I was spending the weekend with Randy because she had asked me, when I asked her if she could go to this wedding with me, she said, sure. I wanted to ask you if you wanted to do something. Now, I should tell you that she's asked me a few times to do things, and I've been unable to go. You know, things down by her or to get together for something, and I've had to beg off. She actually, and I felt terrible about this, she said, do you want to go see Green Day? We'll go see them in Chula Vista down near San Diego. She goes, we can take the train. You can meet me here, and we'll go. And I was like, yeah, you know what? That sounds awesome. I would really like to do that. And then the next day I went, man, you can't do that. Because this is something I always do, and I've been doing it for a long time, is I just say yes. As you know, I say yes to things, and then I figure I'll sort things out. But I have to be smarter going forward. I have to be smart about money. I have to, especially if, because I don't want it to ever become an issue with her. It's become an issue in the past, so I want to make sure that she and I are cool with it. So here's a good way to make sure it doesn't become an issue. Tell her you'll go to Green Day. She buys the tickets and gets a hotel room, and then the next day you tell her you can't go. That's pretty fucking smart. That's the way to do it. She was lovely and gracious about it, but I had to say no. And I told her, I go, look, I know I said yes, but I didn't think you were going to fucking spring into action so quickly, and I apologize. And I felt terrible about it. And I said, I'll get you back, because we're going to go, we have other concerts that we want to go to in the future. And I said, look, it's got to be 50-50 like that with finances, because this has become a thing in the past and I can't. And she's like, well, no, it doesn't matter to me. I want to do things and I want to see you. And I said, I understand that, but I have to have these boundaries that I have to set, at least early in the relationship, until we know what's happening. Because again, it's all starting and it's all great and it's all really cool. But I've had other things that started out all great and really cool, and then things became different. So, and I'm gun shy, I won't lie, and she's actually gun shy because of she was engaged, and then that smashed upon the craggy rocks below, and she climbed out of the surf and into a lighthouse, and she dried herself off and rejoined the living with me, which is great. And I told her, I said, look, man, just take my hand. I'll take your hand, you take my hand, and we'll just move forward, and we won't think about that kind of stuff. We'll make our own stuff happen. Let's not let the past infringe upon the future, which is, I talk a lot of new agey speak these days because I'm trying to learn about myself and others. Hi, how you doing? I keep reading books and going, let's do this. I'll do that for you, and you do this for me, and let's be happy. That's the most important thing in the world. Because I do believe that to be true. But you just have to work on what makes you happy and what makes the other person happy. Because that's another thing. You can't just be happy on your own. You got to make sure that the person you're with is happy as well. But also, if their happiness infringes upon yours, or when you wind up, it's got to be 50-50. What the fuck? Nobody cares. Here, read a book. God damn it. Hi, I'm Dr. Edward Toll, or whatever the fuck that guy, Eckhart Tolle. I'm Dr. Everett Toll. I'm a knockoff Eckhart Tolle. I'm a guy who's just got fucking knowledge of nothing. I'm Don Miguel. Here's the 4 agreements, but I've made them 8. So Randy was like, hey, would you want to go? And I ducked out of that San Diego thing, and I felt terrible about it, but she was really nice about it. And she's asked me to go to some other things, and I couldn't make it work. But then she said to me, hey, on Saturday, we're going to be in Long Beach for the wedding, and I have to go to Palm Springs. It's my mom's 75th birthday. I would love it if you could come. And I just it's very early, but I immediately said yes. I said yes, of course. Partially because, I wanted to spend more time with her. So I don't whoever else was around, that was fine with me. I didn't care. I just wanted to spend more time with Randy, and if it meant going to a party with her family, I'm on board. And I'm going to have to meet her family eventually, you would think. And Randy, I will tell you, had spent some time warning me, as everybody does when you meet their family. And that's always interesting to me. Everybody goes, well, I got to tell you about this person, or you got to be prepared for this. And I'm like, I can handle myself. I'm fine. I got it. But everybody's got that thing where they have to tell you, well, you're going to meet this person. It's going to be like this. And I go, no, I'm okay. And, because everybody thinks that their family is bananas. Everybody thinks that they've got to explain away their family's quirks, when in reality, everybody's family has those fucking quirks. So if you ever go in and you're like, man, this fucking family's weird, that's on you. Because guess what? These are people you've never met. They've lived their lives. They are the way they are, and you have to go in there and you've got to adapt to them. Like, they don't have to adapt to you. They're a family. I mean, they can basically look at you and go, no thanks. Not interested. We've been together for life, and then you're the new guy trying to come in. They could reject you like a bad fucking kidney. So you got to go in there and walk on as many eggshells as you possibly can and ingratiate yourself, especially if you care about the other person. Because you've got to go in there and be as friendly as you possibly can. And I will tell you this, inevitably, I always get warned, oh my God, my family's weird. Oh my God, my family's this or that. And then I show up and the family's very nice. They're lovely. It's just because those people are used to their family's weirdness and used to dealing with their family and their nonsense that it becomes an issue. Whereas I'll walk in and the family will be on their best behavior just like I'm on mine. And everybody wants to make a good impression and be happy and make it work. I've told the story on here about Karen's family. The first time I met them, I went to a party at her sister's house and everybody was great except her mom. Her mom was just a pill and was not good. And I told the story on here about I'll just tell you. I was dating Karen at the time, and I show up at the party, and Karen had two sisters and a brother. They all had kids, and kids are all running around. And for some reason, it was Karen's job to take care of the kids. The brother's off talking to friends. The sisters are all kind of kibitzing with the mom. I don't know why I'm using the word kibitz, because I'm dating a Jewish girl. That could be it. Kibitzing. I'll have to ask Randy the pronunciation for real. And yeah, that's right. She's a Jewish girl, and I think she observes stuff. Dude, I might have to go to a goddamn Seder this year. Are you kidding me? I said that to her. I go, are you saving a seat for Elijah and me? Is it Elijah? Is that who they're saving a seat for? Now they're saving a seat for Mike. I don't know if I got to wear the hat and everything. How great will that be? If I got to fucking show up and wear the fucking hat and read the Torah, I want to read the Torah. I cannot wait. Dude, look at this fucking change. First Jewish person in my life that I've ever dated. It's going to be fantastic. I get to go and do the celebration. I get a dreidel. A dreidel. They'll make it out of clay. God damn it, I know part of the song. I'm already going to fit in with these fucking people. I like brisket. At Karen's family's house, like their mom kept running Karen fucking ragged. I've told this story on here. I know I have. And she would literally say, Karen, get Karen, because her voice was just, oh my God, fucking not even nails on a chalkboard. It was a hammer driving nails through a chalkboard. That's how bad her fucking voice was. Karen, can't you see that she needs a napkin? I mean, and these aren't her kids. These are her nieces and fucking nephews. Why the fuck is she chasing everybody around? So I put up with it as long as I could. And then finally, we're all sitting at there's like 3 picnic tables, and we're all sitting down eating. And the mom's at the end of one. And Karen sits down to eat with me. And then literally the mom is like, Karen, can't you see that he needs a soda? Because one of the kids needed a soda opened or a glass for his soda. And Karen went to get up, and I put my hand on her leg, and I said, hey, why don't you get him a soda? Your legs ain't broke. I said that to her mom. And remember all that bullshit I said earlier about how I know how to behave in a crowd? Yeah, that was not the way to behave in that crowd. But I was sick of it. I mean, she was getting run ragged and told to do all these things that were not her responsibility. She was taking care of everybody else's kids, and everybody else got to have fun and be adults. And Karen was the fucking pack mule. And so I said that to her. There was this beat of silence, literally just this fucking, Merrill Lynch fucking, when Merrill Lynch speaks or whatever the fuck that old commercial was. And everybody froze. They fucking froze, man. And her mom looked at me, and I was looking right at her. I didn't break her gaze, and I'm looking, and then she just fucking smiled. And Karen never got up. She sat with me, and then she just basically floated around the party the rest of the time. because I had stood up for her and nobody had ever stood up for her. And I could see it. I could totally see it. And I think that was the moment truly where she went, I cannot wait to spend the next 20 years with this guy and then have him ruin my life. All right. So I cannot wait for this guy to steal 20 years of my life and then leave. And then I get to leave. I didn't leave. She left. But of course, I don't blame her. Anyway, fuck. That's a story you can hear in other years of the podcast. If anybody new from the wedding who met me, Deborah, hi, you said you were going to listen. No, I hope you're not. So Randy's like, hey man, come to meet my family. I said, all right, I can do this. I can make this happen. So we left the wedding. We go down to Palm Springs. And Randy is the middle kid of 5. Unfortunately, one of her brothers has passed away. So she has an older brother and then she has 2 younger siblings. And we show up at the house and they Airbnb'd a place in Palm Springs, like a 5-bedroom house. And we were going to go and spend the night on Saturday. And so I didn't care. So the whole ride, it's like a 2-hour ride, and I could just see Randy was really cool with it, and she was happy to be with me, but she was also nervous, just kind of like, well, yeah, it's good, I just want to let you know it's going to be. And I go, honey, I'm good, baby, it's fine, don't worry about it. I just that thing where, because I'm going to be me, but I know how to behave in a crowd. I'm a nice guy. I'm a good person. So I can go ahead and do that, and I can make a decent impression. I have in the past. Every time every time I've met someone's family, they liked me. So it turned out good. Now, did that opinion hold over the years? I don't know. Perhaps not. I mean, I don't know. Some families I only met once, but it went really great. So I'd like to think that all of a sudden everything was still fine. So we get to Palm Springs, and we pull in, and we walk into the house. And again, like I said, it's her brothers and sister, it's her mom and dad, it's some nephews and some cousins and an aunt and a bunch of people that are all going to be there, and brothers' wives. And we walk in the door, and Randy goes, "Hey, hi," and nobody moves. Like, I mean, nobody came to the door to meet us. Like nobody stood up. Nobody said hi or said, "Hey, Randy's here." Nobody said, "Yay." Nobody said, "Hey, who's the new guy?" Nobody even budged until her kids came over. That was who budged. Her daughter and her son came over to meet us at the door. And I was carrying, I think I was carrying something, our luggage. I had her stuff. And I walked in, and I met her kids for the first time, and they were really cool. And it said that I will tell you that is always different. Meeting the. I've only dated a couple of people with adult kids, and these aren't adults. One's 13, I think, and one's 15, or 12 or 15. I don't know. I didn't get their IDs. That seemed like an awkward thing. Hey, you got your IDs? But it's a strange thing, you know what I mean? To just go, hey, this is I'm your mom's date today, if that's what you want to call me, or I just say I'm Mike. You know what I mean? That's, hi, I'm Mike. It's nice to meet you. I'm your mom's friend, Mike. Until I'm more than that, then you can get into labels and all that other bullshit. But that day I was just Mike. So I met her kids, and that was great. And then everybody else was just kind of there, and I didn't. I had to seek them out, which was interesting. But I mean, they're, families are busy. They're doing their thing. But it did seem odd to me that nobody came up and hugged Randy, and nobody came up and gave me a handshake and was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And Randy had told me, she's like, "Well, this is a little different, and here's why." And I had the lay of the land. I guess seeing it happen was a little strange. So we walked in, and everybody was really nice. When I walked up to them, and I approached them, I met her, one of her younger brothers. I met her older brother. Her older brother was on the phone the entire time I was there, and this isn't even an exaggeration. He's on the phone like the whole afternoon. Later that night, eventually, he wasn't on the phone, but most of the other time I saw him, he's on the phone. I think he was. I don't know what he was doing. He was conducting business of some sort. That's all I know. But I met her mom. Her mom was lovely. She was very nice. And I met her dad, and I'll tell you what, her dad has the best dad job in the world. Like, if you're wondering what dads should do, they should do what Randy's dad does. He gets to sit on the couch and watch the baseball game and go, "Huh?" That's his whole function. Everybody's like, "You want water? Huh? You want something to drink? Huh? Yeah." And it's one of those things where I don't even know, because again, he's an older gentleman. That was the chair. Remember the chair noise? I think he's, because the mom was turning 75. I think the dad is 80. I think he's a little older. He could have been 90. He may have been 100 years old. But the point is, he gets to be every second of that age, if you know what I mean. Because everybody just kind of goes, oh yeah, that's him. He's old, or that's, he's an old person. So they all kind of wait on him. And he just gets to sit there and let it happen. Like that thing where he doesn't have to pretend to be interested in anything but the baseball game. He was very nice to me when I walked up to him. I shook his hand. He asked my name. I said, I'm Mike. And he said, good, I'm Roy. And I said, fantastic. And then that was it. Huh? What? We'd watch the game together. And he'd do that thing where the announcer would go, Puig is dangerous with a 2-2 count. And there'd be a beat. And he'd look at me and he'd go, Puig is really dangerous with a 2-2 count. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, yeah, I've heard that. I mean, just because I don't know if he was doing it on purpose as a test, or if he was generally, because some people, they get a little older and they don't know if I heard something, or they just repeat things. I don't know. He had the perfect job of being no expectations whatsoever, dad. Just be dad. Just sit there and be dad. And he was. And but he did hug Randy, and he was very nice. He was. You could just see how much he loved her. He liked this. He was the one. He didn't get up from the couch, but when we walked over, he was like, "Oh," and he hugged her. He was very happy. Her mom was very very cool, very proper. Everybody was nice. I again, like I said, I had to introduce myself to them, but it was a weird vibe because I'm the new guy, and I guess I expected, and again, maybe it's because I'm the talent. I expected there to be a little more curiosity about who I was and what I did. Nobody asked me at all what I did or who I was. Nobody even made small talk with me. Like nobody even bothered. I went outside. She has one nephew. His name's Danny. And let me tell you about Danny. This is a guy. You remember when you were a little kid and you were like, well, when I grow up, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Danny did that. Danny's like what you would want to be if you were like, when you were a little kid, if you were like, I'm going to be an astronaut firefighter who's also a secret agent. That's who Danny is. Danny is a fucking Thai fighting champion. He's a Muay Thai fighting kickboxing champion, like belts, like not like, hey man, I beat some guys in my neighborhood. No, he's a young guy. I don't even know what organization it is, but he's fought because fucking on her phone, Randy carries the photos of him with his fucking title belts. This dude is a Thai boxing champion. So, I'm going to talk his fucking ear off, of course. But not only that, he's a Thai boxing champion lawyer. Like what the fuck? I mean, he probably doesn't even have a house. He has a lair. You know what I mean? He's one of those dudes. He just got a fucking lair. He's a Thai boxing champion lawyer. That's not even a joke. He's really that guy. He's the Green fucking Hornet. He's got a lair. In his bedroom, he's got a button that he pushes. He's the kind of guy with a secret identity. He's Danny, but he's also a Thai fighting lawyer. But I'm sure he's also, race Bannon billionaire. I mean, he's got to be one of those fucking guys, right? I was shocked. And of course, I gravitated right to him. And I shook his hand and I started talking about striking and fighting and Fedor and Spider and all these other dudes because everybody else is just, they're themselves. And I don't want to go talk to themselves. I want to talk right to Danny about fighting. So I must have spent the first 20 minutes of the party just talking his ear off. And it was horrible. I was such a fanboy. Like he's sitting in his chair. And I'm, then I'm talking about this, and I said, hey, I actually did Muay Thai fighting for a year, and it was so incredibly difficult. And he was like, oh, really? And I told him, and I said, I respect you so much. Whatever the fuck. It was just this thing where afterwards in my head, I go, what are you doing? Leave this fucking kid alone. I mean, he doesn't want to talk to you. You're the new guy, remember? Go make the rounds. And I did. I made the rounds. I talked to everybody, and everybody seemed fine. Everybody was very nice. They made gumbo. Dave made gumbo. This made me laugh. Dave is like, Dave's her one of her younger brothers, and Dave and his wife, they're foodies, and so they made this gumbo, and they were like, it's kind of spicy, So, and Dave's like, you want a bowl of gumbo? I said, absolutely, of course. So they bring the gumbo over, and people were like, oh, and they were talking to Randy's daughter, and they were saying, you probably don't want to try this. It's really spicy. You probably don't want to eat it. And they gave me the gumbo, and I ate it, and I didn't get. It was good soup, I'll tell you that. But it was really delicious. It wasn't like spicy. Like when I hear you, when you're warning everybody in the house that this is going to be like 5-alarm spicy, I would expect there to be at least some hint of heat, but there was none. The only heat was like warm, like the broth was fucking warm. But you don't want to be that guy who's like, I'll show you a gumbo. You're like a fucking idiot. What you do is you wait a week and then you talk about it on your fucking comedy show for everybody in the world to hear because you're an asshole. But it was delicious. And then her mom was like really nice, doted on me. She's like, "You want a tamale?" I said, "Yeah, of course I do." She made me a tamale they got from the farmer's market. But I planted it on the fucking couch and I didn't move. I mean, when I went and I made the rounds and I talked to everybody, and then it just seemed like everybody was like, all right, well, we've talked to that guy and we don't need to talk to him anymore, which was weird. Her kids were great. We went out in the back. This fucking Airbnb had a shuffleboard. Bar shuffleboard? Not the big one you play with the fucking levers on your feet, but those discs you slide on the sawdust. Which was fun. We went and played with the kids in the back. It was me and Randy again, and her kids played, and it was a fun time, but it was also strange. I mean, again, it's that first time meeting a family, and they don't know what to make of me, and I don't know what to make of them. And there was one person I didn't meet. I knew he was going to be there, but when we first showed up and I made the rounds, he was in the shower. And this was Randy's ex. Randy's ex-husband, who's the father of her kids. He is still a huge part of Randy's life. They raised the kids together, and they're on really good terms. Like I said, she had a fiance in between. It's kind of a coin flip, but her ex-husband and her they're still on really good terms. So I'm going to meet him. And I'm like, all right, we'll see how that works out. So apparently he gets out of the shower, and he comes walking up to me and sits on the couch next to me. Nice guy. He actually got a bowl of gumbo before me, and he was the one who said how spicy it was. "Oh my God, it's so spicy. You got to be careful. It's really spicy." He told his daughter, "This is really spicy." He goes, "Especially with the okra." And in my head, I'm like, okra? What? Okra's not fucking spicy. Because I should tell you what, he's Swedish. And so in my head, I'm like, what kind of snow eater thinks okra is fucking spicy? And then I got the bowl, and of course it wasn't spicy at all. And I'm like, I must have gotten the unspicy okra. Maybe they spiced his up because of his Nordic taste buds. Maybe they threw some pepper in there, and he was like, aye, aye, aye. That's what they say in Sweden. So before okra, he introduces himself to me, and he said, so I don't know what to say, because there's a grown man who just got out of the shower, so I feel like an idiot, and I'm trying to make small talk, and I'm an island among myself. I don't know anybody but Randy, and she's off gallivanting, talking to people, so he comes over. She doesn't get to facilitate the awkward meeting between guys she slept with for years and new guy. So I have to rely on myself, and that's probably never a good idea. Correct? We don't rely on me for anything to be normal. But he introduces himself. He sits down, and I said, "You're in the shower?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Why? Were you out taking a couple of laps around the neighborhood, working up a sweat?" Trying to be funny. But he misses that I'm trying to be funny, and instead he goes, "No, I'm not a runner, but I do play tennis." I said, "Oh." He said, "Do you play tennis?" I said, "I do not." I said, "I would probably die if I played tennis." I said, "Do you like tennis? Are you good at tennis, or both?" And he goes, "Why would you die if you played tennis?" And I'm like, "Oh no, he's not. He doesn't get it. He's not getting me." And I said, "Well, no, I'm probably not in the best of shape here." And I don't want to say his name. And he goes, "Oh, well, no, I like tennis. I think I'm good at it, but I like to play it more than I'm good at it." He said, "My girlfriend plays all the time." I go, "Do you play a lot?" And he goes, "Oh, we play every day." I said, "That's great." He goes, "But I don't understand why you say you're out of shape." And I go, "Well, the thing is I lift. I go to the gym like 3 times a week and I have for like the last 4 years." I go, "But I quit cardio a couple of years ago, so that's why I'm a house right now." And he goes, "A house?" And I go, "Yeah, I'm a big dude." I go, "I used to weigh 500 pounds, so relatively I look better." He goes, 500 pounds. And again, I'm hitting this guy with all this information right off the jump. He doesn't even know me, and I'm dropping this in his fucking lap, but I'm talking the way I talk. And he goes, 500 pounds. I go, "Yeah." I go, "But that was a while ago, but then, now I've lost the weight." I go, "But still I'm too heavy. But I stopped doing cardio. I should probably start doing cardio again." He goes, "Oh, you lift 3 times a week?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, I'm not kidding you. I've known this guy 90 seconds. Already I've made an idiot of myself talking about my own fucking weight loss. But he goes, this is serious. He looks at me and he goes, "How much you bench?" What? Yes, he asked it. I know, because I paused there and stammered, because I know all of you were going, "What? You're a 50-year-old man." I'm a 50-year-old man. But this dude looks at me and seriously means it, because she told me he's a very he's a logical person. He's Nordic. I don't know. He's a Viking. He's Swedish. Whatever you want to say. He's very Spock-like. So he's the kind of guy who would like pick up an orange and ponder it. Does that make any sense? Like he wouldn't just go, "I love delicious fruit." He'd be like, the orange, the skin protects it from the outer layer of, whatever the fuck. He'd have some fucking theory. He's like Neil deGrasse fucking Tyson. But he looks at me and he goes, "How much you bench?" And And I looked at him and I go, seriously? He goes, yeah. He goes, you said you lift all the time, so how much do you bench? And I'm split here, because part of me thinks this is the most ridiculous question I've ever been asked, and the part of me is like, well, fuck you, Spock. I'm going to dominate you with my bench. And so I said, well, do you mean max or reps? And hoping that the language at least would chase him off or something. But he goes, well, what's your max? What do you bench? And I said, 300. And his face sinks. He just makes this face like, what? He goes, 300. I said, yeah. He goes, you can bench 300. I said, yeah, I could push 300 up once and then crawl home and sleep for a fucking week. Absolutely. And his face was he was so saddened by my answer. It looked like I had said to him, hey, by the way, a Kia fucking blows. Like, I mean, that was how sad he was. That was the only thing I could think of that would have triggered such a response in such a Nordic gentleman. I was looking at him and he goes, 300. I said, yeah. And he goes, oh, well, I can bench 150. I said, I use 150 for reps. Like, I'll do 4 sets of 15 when I'm doing chest with 150. And that, of course, that made him even more sad. Or at least, maybe not. Maybe he was just computing it. Like I said, he's the guy who ponders an orange. Maybe he's just in his head. I don't know if he was thinking of taking me on in some kind of fight, or I don't even know. And he wasn't. Of course not. He's a gentle man. He's a nice person. But how much you bench? What a fucking weird question. And again, I'm 50 years old, man. Nobody's asked me how much I bench since high school. And I remember being panicked. When we did weightlifting in fucking high school, I'm in there with Mr. Krushka's fucking class, and I didn't want to do 100. Like, I was so scared I wouldn't be able to bench 100 on the fucking machine, the Nautilus machine. We got in there, and because the stack was 275, everybody's like, who can bench the stack? And I'm like, I can't even do a fucking 100 pounds. So when we sat down to do it, we went to max out, and Krushka's like, Schmidt, you're up. And I put on 100 pounds, and he goes, come on, Schmidt. And I didn't even want to say anything because it's in front of the whole fucking class. And sure enough, I went and I laid down. I'm like, God damn it, this is going to be so embarrassing. And I pushed up and literally with ease, I benched 100 on the Nautilus machine. I was like, oh my God, thank God. Like, at that point, I didn't even want to try to lift anymore, or I wanted to lift fucking everything. But that was when I was 14. So 36 years later, I'm sitting across from fucking Jurgen Klinsmann, who wants to ask me a question about how much I fucking bench, because I don't know if it's because I'm banging his ex-wife, and that seems ridiculous to say that because I'm dating his ex-wife. How rude to say something like that. And part of me wanted to say that, like, how much you bench? How much does your wife weigh? How much does Randy weigh? Because right about now, that'll be I can put that together. Because that's just me getting my fucking hackles up. But he's just a nice man. He's asking a question, but it just seemed like such an odd. How much you bench? And I told him I did 150 reps 4 times, and he goes, 300, huh? And I go, yeah. I said, and look, I'm not saying I'm doing it all the time. I go, but I could probably do it once and then collapse and sleep forever. And not kidding you, he leans over and he squeezes my right arm, my right bicep. I've known this guy 4 minutes. He reaches over and he puts his hand and he grabs my bicep. So I'm like, well, all right, well, fuck this. You're going to do that? I'm going to do this. And I fucking flexed. Boom. I just banged it out. And he looks at me and he goes, now I believe you. Like he thought I was lying about my bench press to impress him? Showering in the middle of the day tennis guy? I mean, I don't... It was just such an awkward exchange. It was one of the weirdest things that's ever happened. Because, I mean, and for him, at least he said he believed me. I mean, he could have said, I still don't believe you. What if he had weights? What if he's like, hey, let's go out in the garage. We got a weight. We rented a weight set. And let's see if you can push up 3 bills. And I would have gone and done it and said, all right, fine. But it was so ridiculous. For him to grab my arm, he fucking grabbed my arm. And so I flexed. I was like, fuck it. And I could only imagine, this is my favorite part of the whole thing. It's me and him on a couch, and we're lost in one another. This now this fucking dick measuring contest between 2 guys. And I just like to think of anybody in the backyard looking through the patio door, or anybody in the kitchen looking over the couch, and just seeing the 2 of us closely talking, and then him reaching over and just grabbing my bicep and me flexing. Because I put my hand in the air. I mean, it wasn't like, I didn't do it subtly. I literally was like, blam! And I fucking put my arm up and flexed like I was Sergio fucking Oliva. And I just love the idea of anybody in the backyard seeing me do it, or anybody in the kitchen, anybody at all just catching that action. And I think most of all, the thing that I think is most precious would be the dad. I picture the poor dad who gets to fake like he doesn't know what's going on at all, just watches the Dodgers and everybody leaves him alone. He just looks over, and there's his daughter's ex-husband and her new boyfriend, and one of them's flexing while the other one's touching the other guy's bicep. And he probably just looked at it and went, huh? But then, the rest of the night went well. I mean, we hung out. We went to Split. It was. I will say this, like I said, I got it. I didn't talk to anybody, and it wasn't like I was actually a social butterfly. I talked to Randy and I talked to her kids, but then her siblings were outside at the end of the night. And we were supposed to stay, but it was an Airbnb. Like I said, 5 bedrooms. Everybody's staking out a goddamn bed, and then they said the next morning we had to be out by 10 a.m. And I had to go to the game, so I had to split and head back to. And I was just like, man, I can't deal with getting up in the morning, waiting for 12 showers, cleaning up the house because we got to get out. So I looked at Randy and I go, we should leave tonight. She goes, really, honey? I said, yeah, let's do that. Let's take off. Let's go to Long Beach and we'll go to your parents' place and we'll sleep over there. And then in the morning I'll split. She goes, oh my God, that'd be great. Actually, there's nobody there. We would have the place to ourselves. I said, fantastic. I'm in. I said, so let me know. And then all night long, her kids wanted her to stay and we watched Saturday Night Live with her daughter and that was fine. I loved it, but she would then look at me and she goes, do you really think we should leave? I'd go, whatever you want to do. What do you think we should leave? Whatever you want to do, baby. And I would tell her, because I'm not going to tell her we got to leave your family's fucking house. But I mentioned it to her. I was like, maybe that's a good possibility because we had been up since 6:45. We had gone to the wedding. We had assaulted Coy. We had taken 1,000 photos. We had driven 2 more hours to Palm Springs. And I wanted nothing more than to just fucking get naked with her and climb into a fucking bed. And I didn't see that happening either in the Airbnb house. So I was like, let's just fucking get out of here. I would have slept in the goddamn car at that point. But, she made the rounds. She waited. We watched Saturday Night Live, which was actually... let's talk about this real quick. And I don't even know why I'm fucking going to talk about this in this fucking moment. But we watched Saturday Night Live. They have to stop doing Trump. Baldwin has to stop doing it. They have to stop doing it, period, because it's not funny anymore. There's nothing you can do that will parody that guy. They do this thing where they act like he's stupid or whatever, and all they do is they say the same things. And I don't know if this is the angle they're going for, where they're saying the things that he says, and they just as like in this way of demonstrating you can't joke the joke. Look, man, we can't make fun of a guy who's this fucking unmake-funnable. You know what I mean? He's so fucking dumb. He's such a danger that we'll just say the things that he actually says, because that's all Baldwin does, and the impression is weak. It's just not funny, especially not as the open. For all the times they've done it, Bannon as the Grim Reaper, or the fake, all the other, the people surrounding them, that was the funny part. And Trump was just this eye of the storm, but now they got to stop it. It's just not funny. It's not. And then they did that fucking Anderson Cooper, Kellyanne Conway sketch, and that was fucking beautiful. It was fucking sharp and well written and funny, and it was a pop culture parody, and it should open the goddamn show. I know they didn't like to open with a tape piece, but it should open the show. But Randy's daughter loves Saturday Night Live, and she loves the late night talk shows, and she wants to be an improv person and a comedian, and so bubbly and fun, and really just a cool kid. And her son is really just a brilliant guy. I mean, he's just one of those dudes who he has a 3D printer. Like his gift to the mom was a lamp that he 3D printed and he built. I mean, it was just fucking amazing. So I had a fantastic time with the family, other than having to swing my dick around and prove how much I could bench in front of the ex. But then I tell you what, he was the nicest guy to me the rest of the day. Maybe because I could crush his head like a grape. Maybe not because he had touched my arm and he's like, all right, this guy's got big arms, I got to be nice. But he was the friendliest person there. I mean, everybody else was nice to me or pleasant or cordial, but he actually engaged me in conversation, wanted to talk about stuff, told me about, and it was a great time. We really, I mean, it was an awkward time, certainly, because again, it's always awkward. It was awkward for them too. I'm sure when I fucking left there, I was like, man, what's up with that dude? But we went to Split. We went out. This is great. We went out to the hot tub in the back, and her siblings were sitting out there. And Randy is silly. Randy is fun. Randy has this energy that she's very hippie-ish. You know what I mean? And I dig it. I really dig it. So, and I'm just kind of half a kid anyway. So we're silly and we're fun for one another. But her family, they were old. They were older, I guess, her siblings. We went out to the hot tub, and her brothers are sitting at the table with her sister, her 2 brothers, and one of her brother's wife. And they're talking about like grown-up stuff. I mean, like I walked out because we went to say goodbye and kind of make the rounds and visit, and we stood out there and they ignored us. Like they didn't even. They just talked about boats and Jerusalem and stuff that was and stocks. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh my Christ, I can't be here. This is just. It was essentially the verbal equivalent of khakis. Just trying on Dockers. That's all it was. Just a mess. And I don't want that. So then her sister had her like phone out, and she said she had an OkCupid profile. So she's like, here, take a look at these guys. And we're looking, and all of the dudes because I guess there are dudes who try to meet her. And like, I've never seen OkCupid. I don't know a fucking thing about it. But as you scroll through, I guess it says these things like what their traits are, these men, and that you read their profiles. They're all fucking. I can't imagine anybody gets anybody off of OkCupid or wants to meet anyone because I'm reading these profiles and. Here's my favorite thing. It kept saying 6 things about you. And every dude that we looked at like 5 different dudes' profiles and they'd all go, there's so many to list. I'd prefer to tell you in person. Like what the dude, it says 6 fucking things. People would list 4. And then like the 4th one would be, oh my God, and there's so many more that I could talk about. Well then at least 2 more. How about 2 more? Fill out the fucking profile the way you've been instructed and go ahead and do that because it would probably make it easier for this person who wants to meet you to know that you can follow simple fucking instructions. I mean, you're trying to get laid here. Put the 6 fucking things. But all these dudes, every one of them, it had the traits that they about themselves, and they all said sex-driven and kinky. And then I read those, and I'm like, this is not a relationship website. I don't think. I don't think this is for anybody who wants to get together and eventually have a 75th birthday party for their mom and then share the gumbo. This is people who want to share the gumbo but not literally share the gumbo. You know what I mean? These are guys who just want to eat gumbo all day, but they don't want to share gumbo. Does that make sense? But yeah, I'm looking at the phone and I'm reading stuff out loud, and Randy and I are being silly and we're being funny and we're making fun of the profiles and we're making fun of, and her brothers, her sister, the wife, like they could not have cared less. They're just looking at us like we were aliens. And again, like I said, they're talking about tables of contents and the Dewey Decimal System and every other fucking important thing that you can bore yourself to death with. I just fucking couldn't handle it. So here's my favorite part of the night. We're fucking standing there, and she had a nephew named Asher, little 5-year-old boy, and he's the youngest kid there. So he's crawling all over everybody. Like he's constantly underfoot because he wants to be noticed, man. He's a little kid. There's nobody else to play with. So, and he loves Randy because Randy's so fun, and she tells him jokes and she carries him. She picks him up. She just pays attention to him. And everybody else is like, well, there's Asher. Let's give him a fucking popsicle and not talk to him for 4 hours. So, and that's a lie. His mom was there. I'm teasing. But we're by the hot tub. We're looking at the phone. And again, like I said, Asher's underfoot. So we're getting ready to say goodbye. We're saying our goodbyes to everybody. And Randy's looking one way, and she zigs when she should have zagged. And we just hear a splash. And she's like, oh, my God. And she looks, and what it was Asher, because this is fucking, 11 o'clock at night. You don't expect a 5-year-old boy to be fucking lurking. But she turned to her left, and that's where the hot tub was. And she hits Asher, and she knocks him right into the fucking hot tub in his pajamas. He'd come out to say goodbye or good night or anything, or to play. I don't know what he did. But Randy knocks the 5-year-old directly into the hot tub. And nobody panicked. Like they're just like, oh, Asher. And I'm like, 5-year-old's outside. He's in the fucking hot tub in his pajamas. Let's panic. Fire drill. But I don't have kids, so that's why I guess people are used to that kind of shit. That's what happens. So they fish him out. They got to go change his pajamas and shit like that. What they should have done is they should have all waited for me to fish him out because, you all know I can bench 300. So I looked down. I would have just fucking put my giant arm out and he could have climbed on it. Oh, yeah, and just fucking scooped him out. But then we got out of there. We made our way home and split. And, and it was great. It was a fantastic weekend with Randy. I enjoyed it. I didn't know that I was going to be involved in the feats of strength. That's what I didn't. He was kind of like a Swedish Costanza when I was there. I didn't realize it was like Festivus. It was a birthday party combined with Festivus, and I was going to have to participate in the fucking feats of strength. But I got to be honest, man. Again, nicest guy, coolest. But for him to reach out and touch my fucking bicep, maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe that's the way to do it. Maybe that's the way we should all operate. You know what? Fuck. If the Dodgers security guards would have operated that way on Sunday, I wouldn't have felt so bad about myself. You just see me bent over, sweating, wheezing. Two guys in suits and walkie-talkies come over. They start calling for medical help. They're like, sir, are you okay? And I should have taken a tip from the day before. I should have just fucking put my arm up and flexed right in their face and just gone, bang, you're goddamn right I'm okay. And the two of them reach out and grab a bicep, and the next thing you know, I'm having a hot dog and nobody fucking thinks I'm going to die. See, I'm sitting here doubting him, but fucking Bjorn Borg had that shit figured out. Just fucking grab a fucking bicep and an umlaut and everything will work out. Everything will be fine. Just avoid the spicy okra. Have a meatball, a lingonberry, avoid the spicy okra, grab a bicep and a fucking umlaut, and go to IKEA and get a Fugeldorf, and everything will be fucking great. How much you fucking benched? You gotta be kidding me. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40yearoldboy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40yearoldboy. You can find me at Instagram and Snapchat. I'm Mike40YOB. That's Mike40YOB at Instagram and Snapchat. I'm there. Find me. It's great. Like our friend Batarang, and I don't remember the number. Is it Batarang 420? I don't know. People write me all the time, but someone wrote me and he's like, hey, dude, I've been listening to your show for a third of my life. And it's good to know that this will be the final episode that you ever listened to. This will be the one where he went, yeah, I'm tuned out now. Can't possibly. This was the end of it. So again, I'm at Instagram and Snapchat, Mike40YOB, Twitter.com/the40yearoldboy, Facebook.com/the40yearoldboy, and you can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Why am I repeating my fucking addresses? I have no idea. Ryan Dirks is the web guy for this show, does all the cool ass web stuff that you'll be seeing in the coming months. He is at Facebook.com/Ryan Dirks. Our friend Giovanni Giorgio Peluso is the best, of course. As you know, he's the coolest guy in the world, and he is taking care of our YouTube channel, among other tech stuff. I'll tell you on the other side about, fuck, I'll tell you now. Well, I'll tell you on the other side. Well, fuck it. I told you I got the stuff from the Podfest, the videos and from Randy, and then I got some audio. And Giorgio, Gio is in the superfan, Gio, not superfan of me, of course, but superfan of others. He's in the midst of fixing it. He's trying to clean up the racket. And he needs a different file, and I had to write the Podfest. I haven't heard back from them, but this stuff will be going up, and I promise, and I've said it before, and it's going to go up there, I swear. And so Superfan Giovanni is the coolest. Again, not superfan of me, but superfan of others. Gio is available at his podcast Pod Gods, which you can find. And also, he is available. He does all of the Loveline stuff for Adam Carolla. All of that stuff is put up and shut up. It seems like a weird thing to say, but sorry, fighting off a yawn. Fuck. Go and find his podcasts, Pod Gods, and of course all the Loveline stuff, and find him at Facebook.com/Giovanni Giorgio Peluso, and thank him for all the YouTube work that he does for me and all the audio stuff as well. David Hernandez is our resident genius, does all the artwork, does all the music for this show. You can find him at many different places. Go to Facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez and be his friend there. He needs more friends. They've got to see his Mex memes that he does there on Facebook. And also, you know that he does artbydmh.com, don't you? If you don't, let me tell you about it. If you go to artbydmh.com, that's where our friend David does all of the cool-ass artwork and stuff like that for this show, as well as artwork for you, custom artwork. You can go there and browse. He's got his Valscapes. He's got his Gycons. And like I said, you can hire him to do custom artwork for you regarding like portraits or paintings or sculptures or just, he'll work in abstracts. Maybe he'll just call you and he'll speak. He'll do like he works in beat poetry now. Fucking yawns. Jesus Christ. He's a beat poet. He'll do some slam poetry for you because that's the kind of guy he is if you want to contact him. So go to artbydmh.com and find him there. He is the best. He is the man. He is your guy. Please make sure you go ahead and ask him to do any custom artwork you would want him to do, but you want to go ahead and find him specifically at artbydmh.com. I do not like the way I said that. That sounded final. This is all new, because we used to have Lily and we gave her address on here and stuff, and now I don't, and so I'm flailing. I'm grasping at straws on how to end these segments and start the next one, because there always used to be the LI, whatever the fuck. So let's try this again. You can get him at artbydmh.com. That's better. Right? You can find David Mex Hernandez at Facebook.com/David Mex Hernandez. I think I said that already. Fuck. This ending is ridiculous. You can get him at artbydmh.com. That's ARTBYDMH.com. Yeah, that was a lot better, right? Everybody? Can we all be on board with that? Yeah, I have a team here. I don't know if I told you guys. I have a team here, and they're now observing me to make sure that I'm doing things fine.
Welcome to the Mexicans Rock and Roll Limbo, where the lost souls of rock royalty pay tribute to the 40-year-old boy.
Schmitty's 5 years old, into show and tell he strolled. Nobody ever told him it's the wrong way. No, it's not cool, brought a bullet into school. Who you think you're gonna fool, it's the wrong way. He ain't too smart for the school he attends, so he's gonna read porn to his friends. Salty tears running down to my shin. Fishback fell through the ceiling and then it caved in. The bat signal shot from where he sits. Just from thinking about some tits, it's the wrong way. Don't know what's up, but he is only a pup, so just wait till he grows up in the wrong way. The only family that he's ever had, a mom, 4 angry brothers, and a drunk ass dad. I'm staring at my own balls. Think it's time I made the call. Lose all the hair in my erection. My solution for happiness. Hairs have been growing way too long. Please wax my balls. Please wax my balls for me. Please wax my balls. Please wax my balls for me. Father's Day, Daddy pulled us closer. Go and ride the indoor roller coaster. I'll be in the beer garden all day. Hey, hey, hey. Father's Day, what a rotten bastard. Won't wake up because he's fucking plastered. Looks like Mom will have to save the day. Hey, hey, hey. Father's Day, following my brother on our way. Try to call her mother, think she'll say you'll never spend another weekend with Dad. Father's Day, Daddy pulled us closer. Go and ride the indoor roller coaster. I'm so sleepy, I've been up for 4 days straight. My crappy job at 7-Eleven, they just called me into work. So here I sit in the back room, close my eyes and took a nap. Then 2 guys clean the place out. Let's all watch the videotape. Thanksgiving in Mike's apartment. 3 o'clock, Mike rolls out of bed. There's nothing cooking, no turkey and no stuffing. Just some empty counters instead. And the house smells like Thursday. Accusers caring of ruining the happy memories from yesterday's life. She grabs her keys, she So no turkey, no stuffing, and now no wife. And the house, it smells like Thursday. When I was suspended from Bolingbroke High School, I had the bright idea and put forth the proposition that I could seek refuge in George Arnold's house. Seek refuge in George Arnold's house. Seek refuge in George Arnold's house. You cannot seek refuge in George Arnold's house! Now I'm hiding in the shower. George's mom came home to pee. Oh yeah, I heard her pee. Please don't find me, Mrs. Arnold. You don't know how scared I am. Oh yeah, I ate your ham. Whoa, whoa. Kiss isn't dead, are they? Nah, who cares? I'm rocking the shit out of these drums, dude.
Michael Crawford. Yeah, that's right. That's the name, Michael Crawford. Last week, I was telling you about Uber, about being an Uber driver and a Lyft driver, and I said there was a gentleman named Michael who went ahead and made me a bonus because he was driving in his city, and he made me some cash, and I thanked him on the show, and I said, hey, Michael Caldwell, thank you for going out and driving for Uber. And then Michael Caldwell wrote a note on the Joker's fan club page, and he was like, hey, you're welcome. I don't drive for Uber. Wasn't me. Yeah, because that's fucking Michael Caldwell, and I thanked him instead of Michael Crawford. And this also, by the way, goes to show that Michael Crawford does not listen to the show anymore because he did not complain once that I didn't say his proper name. But good for Michael Crawford going out there and making money and helping me out, and I appreciate it. If you want to be an Uber person, an Ubering person, a lifting person, or an Ubering person, if you want to Lyft and you want to drive for Lyft, use my code, and this is all caps, Mike 720057. That's MIKE 720057. Drive for Lyft and get me a bonus. That'd be fantastic. Get yourself a bonus too. It's the best. If you want to be an Uber driver, this is all lowercase. DJZW1YTTUE. That's DJZW1YTTUE. Hopefully with less whistling when you say it. Listen to all the whistles that are coming out of my mouth. Is that me? Is that a lisp? I've talked about that many times. Once I hear myself talk for fucking far too long, I think, man, I got a lisp. But instead of just a whistling thing, or it's a whistling lisping, shut up. Fucking stupid. DJZW1YTTUE, that's the Uber code. Mike 720057, that's all caps, and that's the Lyft code. Use those, drive, make me money, make yourself money, but more importantly, make me money. Did I mention that? I think I may have. Let's make Mike money. Do that right now. Let's have it happen. Do we have sponsors for this show? Have I mentioned the sponsors? I did not yet, but I will right now. First of all, folks, are you clean? Do you like being all scrubby-dubby polished up so people look at you and go, wow, look at the skin on that fucking guy? Well, then you want to go to getthebutters.com and keep it up, right? You want to go ahead and make sure you get yourself a butter, a balm, a lube, a balm, a mask, some other bullshit that makes your skin soul glow. He's got soul glow. He's got that too. It'll make your soul glow. It'll stain your couch. Jerome sells all this cool-ass stuff over at getthebutters.com. That's getthebutters.com. Use the code 40YOB to make some, to save money and to make me some money. But if you use the code, I don't know if you save any money. I know I make money. That's the important part. I mean, not that I don't love you guys and I want you to save some money, but if you use the code 40YOB, it certainly makes me some money, and I'm very happy. So happy that I'll fucking yawn on my own show. What the fuck? Getthebutters.com. Use the code 40YOB. Get yourself a butter, a balm, a balm, a lube, a mask. Have Jerome just come over and give you a hand job. I think that's on the docket. Probably not. But you can ask. Yeah, I don't know what the code is for that. Possibly HJ40YOB. Yeah, use that. Use the code HJ40YOB to get a free hand job from our friend Jerome. He might have something to say about that, or he might not. Maybe he's on board. I don't know how it works over at getthebutters.com. Maybe you buy a couple of lubes and he comes over and he goes, hey, let's try these out. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go back to my room where I can lube it all night with this purchase. All right. So get Jerome on board at getthebutters.com. Use the code 40YOB and buy all sorts of cool-ass things to throw in your bathtub and in your butt. And he's happy, and so am I. We have another sponsor of the show this week. And you're going to laugh. You're all going to make fun of me because last week, I told you about The Paranoid Strain, which is a podcast that everybody loves. And it is hosted by our friend Fearful Jesuit. He is terrific. And last week, I said, hey, I did not get to listen. So I was giving him a bonus week of promotion for his show because I was unable to listen to the episode. Well, it's funny how things work out. He wrote me and he's like, man, I loved that promo. It was fucking fantastic. And I go, yeah, but I didn't even listen to the fucking show. And he's like, yeah, but I still liked it very much. So here's what I took that to mean. Here's your permission to not listen this week either. Because, again, I'm going to be promoting him all month. So I like to store it up. I like to hold it. Because here, the first couple of weeks, I just tantalize you and I tell you just about the show, the fact that it exists, Paranoid Strain, in the iTunes store, hosted by Fearful Jesuit, beloved by everyone. There's a lady voice. There's a little girl voice. There's original music. And they talk about ghosts and goblins and all sorts of scary things. And, again, in the past, they talked about the Bundys on the ranch and the fucking guns and the government and all that bullshit. And this month, they talk about the revolution and about George Washington and Valley Forge. They probably don't talk about any of that stuff, but still, and we'll see exactly if he writes me and he goes, I didn't care for it so much this week that you didn't fucking listen. But truthfully, listen to me. All week, like I said, I kept thinking to myself, well, you got to listen. And it was on my agenda. It was on my docket because I don't even listen to my fucking show. All right. But, I had a busy weekend. As I mentioned, I was at the Dodger game. I almost died. You heard that earlier in this show. I visited with Randy's family. I was busy flexing for everybody on the fucking planet. And here it is, I'm recording the show on a Tuesday, Wednesday morning, maybe. I don't want to say exactly which. Could be Tuesday night, could be Wednesday morning. It's a coin flip for you guys. You got to figure out which one it was. But I fully intended to listen to the show, and then I kept telling myself to do it, and then I sat down to record, and I'm not joking, in the middle of recording, I went, fuck, I didn't even listen. And I could have stopped down and probably listened and then gone ahead and then recorded this part, but I like holding it. It's like Christmas. Oh my God, do you know how much I love unwrapping a new Paranoid Strain? It's my favorite thing in the world, because again, it's a podcast that I can't do. I come out here, I talk to you about bullshit. I talk to you about meatballs and my biceps and Swedes. And this guy's doing a fucking brilliant show where it's all researched and he talks to people. He has guests with like degrees. And I can't compete with that kind of stuff. I'm lucky enough that he asks me to go ahead and promote the fucking thing. I'm actually classier by association with the Paranoid Strain. So please, for me, and to make up for the fact that I haven't listened, but I get to listen this week, I envy all of you folks because you already listened last week. But listen again. Listen this week. Let's have a listening party. Contact me. And let's have a dead man's party. Who could ask for more? But contact me. I'll do a listening party with you. No, I won't. That seems ridiculous over the phone. The two of us listening to the Paranoid Strain. But I will listen this week, and I hope you do too, because like I said, you've already listened last week. You loved it. You absolutely loved it. I can tell. The feedback's been fantastic. When I mention feedback, by the way, if you listen to Paranoid Strain, please write Fearful Jesuit. Tell him A, that we told you to listen, and B, tell him how much you love it. or hate it or whatever the fuck. Give him your real opinion, but also tell him we sent you there, because that makes him think that this is actually doing some good, and he forgives me for not listening to the fucking thing. But oh my God, I can't wait to listen this week. I may listen every day. I may listen tonight, Wednesday night. I may listen tomorrow, or is tonight Wednesday or tomorrow Tuesday? I don't know. Look, I can't tell you specifically when this is being recorded. However, I do want to tell you that you should think to yourselves, hey, Mike's listening to Paranoid Strain all this week. Whenever you think of me, go, Mike's listening to Paranoid Strain. Because again, it's a show that I can't do, and I'm always fascinated by people doing things that I can't do. All I can do is talk out of my mouth and I fucking babble. But that dude does research, he's got segments, he's got music, he interviews guests, he books those people, and all he asks is that you listen and tell him he's great, and tell him that I sent you. So please do that. The Paranoid Strain is available in the iTunes store. Write a comment in the iTunes store reviewing the show, telling him how much you love it, telling him that I sent you there, and also make sure you give him feedback with a pseudonym. He loves pseudonyms. The guy loves pseudonyms. Oh my Christ, does he love pseudonyms. Now he himself, his true name is Fearful Jesuit, but he hopes that other people have other pseudonyms like Ned Riley. Maybe that's a pseudonym. Maybe it's a pseudonym I use. Maybe I use Ned Ryerson Lee. See, I take a name from another famous project and I just put a little thing on the end there. I co-opt it and make it my own. Listen to Paranoid Strain. It's in the iTunes store. It's fucking fantastic. Tell him I sent you. Put it in the fucking review. And contact him and be interactive with the show. He wants to get letters and feedback. He wants to hear how he's doing for real. Otherwise, he wouldn't fucking sponsor my show to get actual feedback from actual people. So please, get on board with Paranoid Strain and Fearful Jesuit. And I can't wait to listen this week. I have that ahead of me. That's laid out in front of me like a goddamn red carpet. I'm going to stride down it slowly. I might rewind it. I might listen to it on half speed just so I can hear it that much longer. Stretch the fucking show out. Please remember that the Earbuds podcasting documentary is available in the Comedy Film Nerd store and at all of your streaming locations now. They just did a fucking big time podcast this week and advertised it again. And whenever they do that, I hear from new people who then watch it and go, whoa, who's this idiot? And I tell you, I'm that idiot. So thank you for contacting me. And hopefully you've listened to this show after seeing it featured on that show and then featured on another show. Fucking you watched Earbuds and they featured it on the Schmo Knows show, and then I hear from people who go, hey, I just watched that, you were an idiot. And I'm like, yay. So please find the Earbuds streaming thing if you haven't bought a DVD, and if you got it, I'll sign it. I signed some at Podfest. That was pretty fun. Signed some posters, signed some DVDs. If you do get that, find me and I'll do it. Or you can mail to me and I'll send it back to you. God knows I love mailing you stuff. Just ask Rick Wellbanks, who's still waiting on his beard oil. Fuck. I have like $15 or some beard oil. I should just send the fucking beard oil. Please remember, go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Let's talk about that because I keep fucking forgetting to tell you about it every week now because my promos are all fucking screwed up. Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. We've got all sorts of cool stuff there, but especially, it's being redone eventually, soon. But the Joe Business page is something that I will tell you about right now. It's fantastic. It's amazing. The Joe Business page is out there lurking. It is something you should check out because we got all sorts of stuff for sale on there. Shirts, live stuff, but all this stuff's also on YouTube. Like I said, go to the YouTube channel and learn and listen and go ahead and check out the back catalog and listen to all the stories you possibly can. They're all available out there. Everything I've ever done available now on YouTube. Every word I've ever uttered. Fucking yawning. Every word I've ever uttered over the last 10 years. Jesus Christ. See, this is what happens when you wait until Wednesday morning to record. You wake up early thinking you're going to bang it out because you got to talk to Mex about the artwork, and then guess what happens? You wind up fucking yawning like a dope. All right, hi. So go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, check out the Joe Business page, buy stuff, go to the YouTube channel and listen to stuff. Please use our Amazon link. That's really important because we get money, they get money, you get stuff. I can't think of nothing more important than that. And it doesn't cost you anything to use our Amazon link. You just use it. It clicks through right to Amazon. You go ahead and shop. We get credit. Like I said, they get money, we get money, you get stuff. It works out perfectly. You're going to be using it anyway. It doesn't cost you an extra dime to help out the show. And you are helping out the show by using the Amazon link. That's the best. And let's talk about Patreon for just a second. That does exist. Like I said, I'm going to be putting up some audio and video. I've got a GoPro now that I've got the cords coming today. Or no, today's, he said Thursday. So tomorrow. The cords are coming tomorrow, and they'll be here, well, at least I hope so. Who knows what happens? It could be here Friday. I don't know how the fucking USPS works, but they'll be here and I'll be able to, I might film stuff with the GoPro. If you want to go see me running around outside, if you want to see me walking upstairs at Dodger Stadium, maybe I'll film that for you. The point is at Patreon, there's levels and there's things there that I said I was going to do that I have not done, and I'm trying to figure out yet how to do them, but I will do them, and then I'm going to put up video and audio from Podfest. Oh my God, folks, get on board with Patreon. Some people have already, it's been a weird month. I've had like some people leaving, and I always think to myself, oh my God, those people split because I'm terrible. And like I said, some people are very nice and they write me and they go, no, man, I just had to adjust this for a certain reason. But some people just fucking ghost. And I'm like, nah, that's the nature of it. That's how it works. But thank you to everybody who supports me on Patreon. You are the coolest. You are the best. David Ashton just signed up. Thank you, David. He's the only new name, I think. But thank you, David, for doing that. And Casey bumped up his pledge. Some other people bailed and cut their pledges a little bit. But thank you so much. Anybody who gives $1, you're really appreciated. You help me do what I want to do more than anything in the world. And I'm looking forward to getting back on the road and trying to do stuff and doing some shows. All sorts of stuff laid out in the coming months, and I will tell you about all of that when I can, when I have a chance. And I guess that's it. That's all. Bye.
There's nothing lonelier than being trapped inside yourself. It's easier to hide when you pretend yours unknifed. Women love a guy with a giant neck.
We here, we are playing on a level that most will never see.